This and all episodes of the podcast have been brought to you by our generous patrons over at Patreon, the DayZ podcast. If you're interested in finding out more about how you can support the show each week, then please click the link in the description down below to find out more information about Patreon, the DayZ podcast. Thank you for your support. And once again, as always, folks, a big shout out to our supporters on patreon.com, the DayZ podcast. Our $10 supporters, Scalespeeder Gaming and Dick Donovan. Thank you so much, guys. Your support is really appreciated. And a massive shout out to our $25 supporter, Jake Snow. I don't know why you do it, mate, but we can't thank you enough for your support for the DayZ podcast. All the best, folks, and enjoy the show. One. 53 of the podcast. How are we all doing?
Doing very well today.
And we are joined today not by Syntax as it says on my display, because I'm changing that now, but we are joined by a last-minute standing guest, Mr. DeanosBeano Dean's Beans. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Glad you could allow me this chance just to hear some good news today.
You did. Well, we'll get into that shortly. Yeah, we had two guests lined up. We got some feedback marks that we weren't really paying much attention to the players, and we were focusing on modders and content creators and the devs and all that too much, and we decided we would throw it out, and every month we'll do a players episode, and both of our players stood us up. One at least did message us, Sandal, said he's not feeling well, so I hope you're getting better, mate. And Syntax was last seen awake at 3 a.m., which is about 3 hours ago, so I'm guessing he had a big session last night and has slept in, but that's all good. Luckily, Dinos was in chat and said, hey, I can jump on, and fucking oath, I'll be very happy to get you on, buddy.
Yeah, that's good. I've watched quite a few now and thought it's about time I stopped typing and started talking.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you, mate. Pleasure to have you. So just for the people in chat, tell us a bit about yourself, mate.
Well, I guess I'm one of the old school people who started way back in Operation Flashpoint.
Ooh.
I was one of those 2001. You'll hear this story many a time about the demo disc in a magazine. That's where it all started for me as well.
Yep.
Quite a few old school boys. That's how they found their way here and lost 20 years of their life now, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I guess many of us that have been here that long, we're kind of like problem solvers, inquisitive, you know.
Operation Flashpoint was a groundbreaking game, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was just so unique. I mean, I remember we were sat in the GameSpy lobbies, and suddenly your screen would go black, and then the game would start up, and the next thing you know, you're in game, and this massive open arena, and then if that wasn't enough, an helicopter goes flying by.
Did you ever play it, Marks?
No, never played it.
I played, I think it was Operation Flashpoint, was it Dragon Rising? Was the first one to be released on console. And I remember getting it. And up until then, all I'd ever played was games like Call of Duty, Medal of Honor, and things like that. And Operation Flashpoint, I just kept on fucking dying. And dying, and like from one-shots. And you're like, how fucking OP are these guys? And then, the brain eventually kicks in after you stop raging and throwing your controller across the room. And it was like, maybe I need to play smarter. You know, they wouldn't make the game impossible. And sure enough, I started implementing real infantry tactics, and I started actually succeeding and managed to beat the missions in the game. And it blew me away that someone made a game that difficult. But it was brilliantly done, wasn't it, Dean?
Yeah, it's I don't know. It was just sometimes in life, maybe a bit like barn find, cars.
Mhm.
It shouldn't work, and it's a bit beaten up, and it's more. It's just so intriguing that you get absorbed into it, don't you? There's I don't know, there's two kinds of people sometimes. Those who want to get into a brand new shiny Ferrari, and those that want to get into a barn find and do it up,
Yep.
restore it, kind of thing. And to me, that's where Flashpoint was. It was kind of unfinished and a bit, rusty around the edges, and you wanted to delve into it and see if you could improve it yourself. And
It's kind of a
lots
bit
of
of a
people did.
signature for BI games, though, isn't it? They develop a bit of a core engine and then let modders do their thing, Marks.
Yeah, it seems that way over the years, anyway.
Mm.
Yeah, they had a good business pie, as I call it. I mean, what better business model? You have a game full of
Yeah.
creators, and then you have a military simulation on the side that needs creators for that. I mean, it must have been amazing for them. Like a recruitment tool, wasn't it? Almost. You
Yeah.
might
Well,
say.
as we can see, they have recruited people who've done modding in the past.
Yeah,
Probably the two big ones that stick out in everyone's mind would be Dean Hall and Sumrak.
yeah. Fair play to them as well.
So you're a modder as well, mate.
Well, I pretend to be, and I've made quite a few games. I guess my moment of glory was my horse for Armour 3, and
Mm-hmm.
that's specifically why I'm in DayZ, because I want to get a horse in, and I've always
Yes.
said once I do that, I don't know what's left for me to do in DayZ, but
I do
it's
recall
not easy.
Brian Hicks, I think, in an interview said that the CEO or the head of BI was very, very keen for there to be a horse in DayZ, but it just proved to be too difficult for them or something, I think they said in the end, which is very sad.
Yeah. Well, I always smiled when I got the horse in Armed Assault. I mean, I must say, along with Maxer, who did the animations for me,
Mm-hmm.
a great guy, very talented chap among many. But I always smiled because I knew, like you said, the Spaniel brothers always wanted to do a Western scenario, so I believe anyway. Rumor always had it that one of their goals was to do a Western themed scenario with horses, etc. Yeah, that was some mission. 6 years it took.
So what's some DayZ mods of yours that people might be familiar with?
Well, I guess my most popular one at the moment is the Surfaces mod, which allows grip for all vehicles. I think that's something like 250,000 subscribers. And then I have the Mustang car,
Mm-hmm.
which is probably as far as I would like to go to put a modern car into DayZ, because it is very post-apocalyptic looking. So I think I got away with that. Although I must say it isn't my model or anything. I only put the configuration together and stuff. But yeah, maybe the DBO Mustang, DBO Surfaces.
So how difficult is it to... have you done much work on getting a horse in DayZ? Is it difficult? Or what?
It is,
Like,
yeah.
I would assume so. It would be always cool to see it. See a horse in the game.
Well, I'll show you a video shortly, and but I took a break from it because it was getting too much. It's very difficult. It's well, you've heard about from the devs themselves. Even they say the thing is in Armed Assault, I had avenues that I could take so that you could be sat on the horse, but still be. Sorry, you would be the unit on the horse, but your controls were controlling the horse, so to speak. So
Okay.
in that scenario, I think at some point, Bohemia put some code in for a UAV, an unmanned vehicle, So I abused that code so that the horse became the UAV. So I magically attached the player onto the horse and he was controlling the UAV, but it was the horse. So it was, it was some workaround magic, which is 90% of all add-ons.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
So, yeah, at the moment, I mean, I hopefully I'll get into this in a minute, but right now I'm creating tutorials for everybody to make add-ons for DayZ, and that's the big thing. And on Sunday, tomorrow, I'm going to be opening up about 30-40 hours worth of videos that will allow people to learn how to make their own add-ons, because for lots of reasons I learned through others, and there isn't much out there in terms of explaining in a video slowly, along with actual files that you can read and see that correlate with the videos. And
yeah,
then,
there is a lot of like tutorial videos out there. Some of them are usually good, but then there is some out there that you're just like, can this even be classed as a tutorial video? Some of them can be that bad at times.
yeah, exactly.
So.
What's
So
your
I
YouTube
decided
channel?
it's Dino's DayZ tutorials. I think I've just changed it recently because I'm going all out with my social media and stuff like that. Shall I find some links? Well, the best place to go really is to my Discord, and then everything's there. I think I have 400 people there now, so
If you can put a link in chat, because I just no, I'm not getting a link to your channel, but we'll put that into chat as well so that people can find it.
I'll just put it there now. I'm not used to all these this many windows. There we go. If I link it there in your Twitch.
Yeah.
Nice one. So yeah, basically tomorrow, all that will become a nice place of education where people can learn. Like I said, I've put quite a number of hours into it, and I've actually been doing it for 2 years now. And like I said, there's 400 people in there, and varying success. It isn't easy, you've got to have a bit of aptitude about you, and like everything else in life, you've got to want to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Exactly. They're gonna be
like I said,
be nice for people to have. So if they ever do need them, they're there and ready and waiting to just be watched. And hopefully people will learn stuff from them.
I'd like to think at least in the last 12 months, 100 people or so have gone on to learn and make their own things, which is great for me.
Yeah.
I feel 2 or 3 people have achieved so much they can teach me now. In fact, I rather than go back and watch my own videos, I ask them, because they're some people are really good at learning and cracking on, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So just an overview. Like I say, tomorrow I will be opening up the videos that are just put to one side at the minute because I don't want to release everything at once. But basically, it will start off with how to make a vehicle, put it in game. It'll be a tutorial on textures, very simple, how to retexture something, existing assets like the off-road hatchback, just with a simple configuration, nothing too complex. Then there's more complex one where I don't know, or probably my bloodsuckers are another add-on that people will know about. So I've the ones on the mouse, they're like Marmite, I guess. Some love them, some absolutely hate them. So there's a tutorial on how to create characters. I've just worked on, and it's almost ready, on a very easy way using a tool called Blender, where you literally put 2 models in there, press 4 buttons, and what comes out is a model that can be used in DayZ. And
That's pretty cool.
so if you want a werewolf or whatever you want, I'm hoping Bohemia are going to come up with the goods and release some animal files so I can take those and then transfer the weights to new animals, because I've just done a tigers. They're on beta at the
The
moment on
tiger
Steam,
looks
actually.
fucking awesome, man. That little
It actually
that
does,
little
yeah.
that clip he dropped on us was it last week, Marks? It just
It
looks
was, yeah.
like I'm used to the wolves getting down, but watching that tiger animation of when it gets down and it's getting ready to leap at you,
Yeah,
that is
yeah.
just I can't wait to see that on a server and not know that it's going to be there and just have it just scare the living. Have you got tiger audio?
Yeah.
Oh,
I've 98% now of the audio is tiger. There's just a couple of little growls from somewhere that I can't find yet, but I will.
yep.
But yeah, there's been 2 moments when I was creating the bloodsuckers and I was in a tunnel. Somebody had given me some code to spawn them, and I'm not really au fait with the mission stuff. Fair play to the guys; they don't get enough credit. Those that make the missions, I know a lot of times server owners, add-on makers get a lot talked about, but the ones who make the mission really do ramp it up. And anyway, this guy gave me some code, so I'm walking down this tunnel in the mouse, and suddenly one of them bloodsuckers just appears and roars its head off, and I shat myself, for want of a better word. It's fantastic. But then it happened with the tigers as well. Sometimes this game, the AI is incredible. It does things that you haven't told it to do because they go somewhere or approach you or stalk you, don't they? It's amazing. Yeah, especially the wolves. Whatever AI they're using is great. But yeah.
It is quite cool, actually, yeah.
Yeah, so
If
sorry, go on.
if that tiger mod does get tiger audio and all that stuff as well, it's going to be very, very cool.
Yeah, I've got
Definitely
it.
gonna
Like I
be
say, it's 98%. They're on. I think they're called DBO Tigers Beta or something. I can. Let me just link it now if I can find my own stuff.
I actually have
Sorry,
it here. I have a link. I'll drop it in.
Well, there. Nice one.
There we go.
Good stuff. But yeah, so the big thing that I would like to reveal while I've got this opportunity is that I'm just checking on all the licenses for my creations. I have 82 add-ons altogether on DayZ, and over the next coming month, I am going to compile them and release them in an unbinarized format. So anybody, I'm also going to release a video showing you how to create these in your own name. So you'll have your own bloodsuckers. You can tweak them how you like them. You can have your own tigers. Apart from the Mustang and the horses, because they're not, they're so tied up in licenses and copyrights, I can't do it with them.
Yeah.
So, well, like I say, what I like to reveal is my intention is to release all the add-ons I've made for people to use themselves and tag them themselves. And I'll do a video showing them just in Notepad how they take my tag, which is DBO, and they create their own tag. So 2 reasons for doing that. A, people get to tweak them and create their own versions how they like them, how much loot my cars can carry, how much armor the bloodsuckers have, things like that, what textures they wear. maybe the bloodsuckers, you don't want them having those silly face appendages. And the reason I'm doing that is I get so many questions. I just thought, you know what, let people make their own versions and learn along the way.
So how old are you, Dean, if you don't mind me asking?
I might, well, I'm on a young 52.
So you're an early adopter of computers and stuff then, mate.
Yeah,
you'd be like
I
myself. You
sat
can
the,
remember when they first got introduced to schools. And
yeah.
have you
Yeah.
always been involved in computer code and things like that, or is it just a hobby for you?
Yeah, both really. I've never done it for money, but because I'm a gardener by trade, so luckily enough, I stay outside. God forbid, if I coded for a job and did this, I think, well, my eyes would probably be useless in daylight. But yeah, the point you hit on there, yeah, I took the first courses at school that was available in GCSE, as we called it, 1984-5. On I had a Commodore 64 at home, but we had to learn on the BBC.
The old
BBC
the old
Micro.
cassette loader.
Yeah. And the 56K modem when you could afford one. Yeah. Well, it'd be 40. What is it? 14K first, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
God,
We never had a modem. We just had the computer and the cassette player, and then we were lucky enough to get the floppy disk. But yeah, I always say the cassette player was the best thing for gaming, because you'd get that bored waiting for the cassette to run through as 40 minutes or so for the game to load, that you just end up outside playing again.
Yeah. Well, it was the big game was China Minor for the Commodore, and if you got a syntax error, cannot load near the end, it killed you, didn't it? And if you remember the book, there was a text input program in there of about what was it, 1,500 lines. But in those days, they couldn't put a email out saying there's a syntax error in the book. I remember one of the first things I ever read on a news group was about that syntax error in the Commodore book. Ironic.
So what else have you got lined up, Rich? You got the big channel releasing tomorrow?
Yeah, we've got those. There's big things I can't tell you about. I mean, I've been doing work for a very, very, one of the biggest names on YouTube videos in regards to him and DayZ standalone. I won't say any more than that.
Ooh.
So don't.
You can't just drop a bomb like that on us, can he, Marks?
Oh,
No.
No, I've signed NDAs. Don't ask me anymore. I'll just tease you with that. But at least take it as there's some exciting stuff to come for DayZ this year.
So we're going to be getting Running Man
with
skins later this year, confirmed by Dino. Thank you very much, mate.
No, I would never say bigger than Running Man's, but it's a big chap. I think
Lax Hawthorne it is.
Yeah, I know that name. Why do I know that name?
Everyone knows Lax Hawthorne. He's probably the biggest Aussie DayZ creator at the moment. He's an absolute legend. But even if he has given up his luscious locks to now wear a hipster beanie.
Well, that's the other thing. If people come to my Discord and they want to learn, they've got to imagine this. I've had DayZ for a few years now, and I've got something like 1,200 hours, but I've never actually played the game. So those 1,200 hours are made up from me starting the game to test an add-on for about 5-10 minutes. So I probably started the game about 100,000 times. Well, yet I've never really. I have played it, obviously, but what I mean is I haven't had a meaningful 3 or 4 hour sessions like the content creators do on Twitch. But
That's pretty cool. I've seen. I was just looking through your workshop and all your mods for DayZ and stuff. I see you have bikes as well.
yeah, I've got experimental motorbikes and push bikes on there. Like I say, I like to push the boundaries and find workarounds. They do work,
Yeah.
but it's like everything else. When you get into multiplayer in DayZ at the minute, the most unstable things becomes extremely unstable, doesn't it? So
Yeah, especially on like a
Like-
high pop server. You
yeah,
want to find like
yeah.
vehicles and stuff are just not really usable. But
No, but I mean, people use them. I mean, there's a horse that's actually a car on there, and I get lots of
Hmm.
medieval servers and things like that.
yeah,
You know,
I've seen
it's
that
a
one.
good laugh.
I didn't realize you had bikes and stuff. Like I've just seen it there now, like the motorbike one. I just saw the video you had of it there, and it all works.
Yeah.
The only thing it's technically kind of missing is the animations, which I know
Yeah.
you can't have because they're just not in. They're not coded into the game or whatnot.
Well, that's it. That is a fantastic subject that maybe we could press Bohemia, but I don't think they could help us because
they don't have it
we
either.
can only
Yeah, they don't.
exactly that. I think we're allowed to speculate because there's no news, and the speculation is that developers who did the animations left, and the knowledge has gone with them. So
I think
but,
I'm going to make a video on that bike mod. I want to showcase it. I want to test it out and just see what it's like. It's something I want to do because I'm always getting asked by anyone out there, like, will bikes ever come to DayZ? You know, that mod exactly is a good way to show them why it's like not in DayZ at the moment. And
Have
stuff.
you got a link to it, Mark, so I can bring it up and
do.
show people?
Yeah.
I would suggest maybe try it in single player if you get a bad result.
Oh yeah, I will.
I haven't touched it for a while, I'll admit, because I'm driven by people asking me, "Hello, can you fix this?" or "Why is this like that?" None of us were driven by. I know I've heard it here before. Fix your fucking mod. I get that on a get that on a daily basis. I just had an absolute classic, and I actually made a channel in my own Discord. I'm not naming and shaming the chap because he made me laugh, but I just got one on one of my add-ons. The chap says, it's okay, but the guy in the back seat can steer the car as well as the driver. Well, I haven't touched it for 12 months. Nobody else is complaining. I mean, surely you've got like expansion or one of those dodgy helicopter mods loaded as well, and it's that. But they don't seem to think it's the mod that they're sat in, or the gun that they're firing that's the problem. It's never something else that they loaded the night before, So
it's always the people that say fix your mod, or they try and give you tips on your mod, or like all this stuff, and they don't realize how difficult it might be to be able to fix a mod or stuff like that, and that can be very frustrating. I could see how that could be like, just drive you mental.
Well, especially as us poor add-on makers, we're the only guys that can't really make a bit of dosh. So. I mean, if you look at me with my tutorials, I'm not actually allowed to show my tutorials for profit because I'm using the tools in the videos. It's stupid.
Really?
I can accept donations, but if I set up a Patreon or something like that and just exclusively showed them videos to the Patreons, I could be torn down. So it's it's not quite. And there are people in the community who watch for that and report it. It's terrible, really.
Yeah, it's a very tricky situation. The entire modding and monetization part. It's very
We've been talking a lot about it.
Yeah.
It's if everybody were strict to the rule, there wouldn't be any Twitch streams or anything, would they? Because Twitch streamers is a business. I thought about streaming live on Twitch with the tools, but if I did that and got subscribers, is that against the rules? You just don't know, do you?
Yeah, it's
Maybe we need
very
clarity.
grey area.
Yeah, but I went to the license page and it strictly says, no, you cannot. You're allowed to accept adverts on your YouTube. It specifically says that, but beyond that, you need permission. Maybe you could write to Bohemia, but I'm not
Yeah,
naming it. But I've, like I say, I've been doing it for 20 years. I've had a lot of pleasure, so I won't call Bohemia. I think they're a great company. So some of the decisions maybe like.
But that's the same with pretty much every business out there. You scratch your head at some of the decisions they make. You're not always going to agree with them, but at the end of the day, they've made games that have kept a lot of people very happy in the community.
Exactly that. Yeah. I mean, they've been going 20 odd years, and they were a small business, so they've done something right, haven't they?
And look, a lot of people have issue with Dean Hall and DayZ and all the rest of it, but I kind of view that whole thing as it's a bit of a almost a romantic sort, or not romantic, but it's great to see a guy who made a mod for a game end up with enough money that he can start his own business, his own gaming company, Rocket Works in New Zealand. And from all accounts, you follow the guy on Twitter. Man, he's a fucking legendary employer.
Yeah. He was. I first came across him in, I think it was Armour 2 early days. Could have been back end of Armour 1, I'm not sure. But I used to make terrains, and I was making Afghanistan at the time. And I needed this snow texture. And I saw on, it was Armourholic, something like that, this terrain, and it had beautiful snowy mountains. Anyway, I looked at this thing here, Rocket, or I think his tag was back then. So I emailed him, and within hours came back, yeah, you use that texture, mate, no worries. I thought, well, what a nice chap, And then he released an airplane, and I have a video of his airplanes, right, and it was beautiful. He was a talented guy, from the outset. So it was no surprise to me that he went on to make something out of what he had to work with.
Yep.
I mean, lest any of us forget, none of this would happen at all without that guy who made the DLL to allow saved files from the server. I forgot was it not N key or something like that?
Sorry, what do you mean by that? I have no idea what you just said.
Well, everybody had good ideas back then, but then this chap, forgive me, I'll forget his name now. He made a file, a DLL file that allowed you to save players' positions and everything like that off from the game, so you could load them back up. So with that, all your loot and everything could then be saved separate from the game. And that was when everything became opened up and everybody's ideas became a reality. And that was the breakthrough moment for lots of things. I'm not going to say DayZ wouldn't have been created without that, but as I remember at the time, it was integral to a lot of ideas being realised at the time.
Extended DLL hack for Armour 2, Pindai is saying in chat. Is that the one?
That could be the one. Yes. So I'm not dreaming. I knew, because I'd heard about this modification, this add-on, and this thing, because I mean, wasn't Dead Linger around that time or just after as well? There was quite a few ideas around that time, wasn't there? And then suddenly DayZ just absolutely romped away, didn't it?
Yeah,
magnificent.
Look
at it now. Look at it now. It's
there we go. We've just had a link put in chat from Pindai, back to a post on August 8, 2007. I'm sharing my screen if you want to look at it, Dino. Is this the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
Wow.
store info in files. Yeah.
Man, Marks, this is one of the things I love about the fucking podcast, man. I get to find out shit that I had no clue about. And, what a formative moment. I've never had anyone mention this to me before. So thank you so much for bringing this up, Dino. This is just mind-blowing, isn't it, Marks?
Yeah, I never knew this thing either. Not gonna lie, it's pretty cool.
All the way back in 2007. So 5 years before the hype of DayZ really started. 4 to 5 years before it.
Yeah. So even my recollection wasn't strictly true, was it? But I remember these are the guys that make the workarounds that make ideas a reality, really.
Mm-hmm. And who knows what we're going to see in the near future? The things that are being done within the game at the moment.
Yeah.
It's just it's great to see. It really is great to see.
Yeah, I think the thing you have to watch for with any game is that is controversy for you. A lot of the really useful, powerful tools start off your life as cheats, and the cheat writers often get absorbed into the game, and sometimes they realize it's a better notoriety to make a good add-on and be popular than write cheats.
Yeah,
And,
I know a couple of people in the community with rather how should we say unscrupulous past, don't we, Marks?
Yeah, we do.
yeah, I
And
bet you
that
do.
look, I get told off all the time for the fact that I go a little bit easy on blokes who've been caught cheating or something like that. But everyone can turn a new leaf. You're not defined by one thing that happened. You should always be held accountable for what you did. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but
Yeah.
like you're saying, Dino, people change and come up.
They do. They do.
They leave the dark side of the force and come over to the good side.
Yeah, don't ostracize them. Put your arms around them and give them a hug and say, "Look, I believe you can do this. Why don't you implement it this way?" And they just want a good hug. These cheater writers, really, don't they?
I think a lot
Actually,
of
And a big hug will sort them out.
sorry, Max.
I think a lot of like even like people who write cheats for games and even websites, for example, like hackers when they try to hack into websites and stuff. Usually they're not trying to. So some people will try and hurt the game or whatever,
Yes.
but a lot of people just try and see can they figure out a way to make something different or better. And usually those people end up getting either hired by the company or the company takes them in and asks them to show them how they do it and all this. And it ends up usually being good for whatever it is that this hacker was or cheater was making this stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of crazy how it works.
It is. It's like it's they're going full circle, isn't it? Really, it's
Yeah.
and they're clever. They're clever people as well. I mean,
Fascinating stuff. Absolutely fascinating stuff. Okay. So, while we've got someone in chat, I want to jump ahead to a topic that we had later on in the podcast. But I just want to bring it to everyone's attention that last week we talked about an absolute legend of the DayZ Down Under community. Doc Satan passed away on the Friday before the podcast. Now, in the week since, the DayZ Down Under community has raised, how much money do you reckon they've raised for his funeral? Marks? This is a small community just in Australia and New Zealand. Couple of grand? They've raised $3,500 or over $3,500. I'm just blown away by that. Hang on a minute, have I just muted myself? 5K.
if you look
Okay.
at
You guys couldn't hear me then. I was
No,
actually
you were
talking
definitely.
away. I'd muted myself somehow. So I was just saying that I wanted to quickly jump to a topic while we've got Spud in chat.
Mhm.
Spud is the head of the DayZ Down Under community, who sadly, as we talked about last week, lost one of their absolute legends of the DayZ Down Under community, Doc Satan. And
Yeah.
they did a fundraiser. And you won't believe how much money they've raised. Well, Spud just typed it in chat. $5,000, which is the cost of his funeral.
Wow.
A bunch of fucking gaming nerds, toxic gamers, and everything else that people love to say about gaming culture have managed to raise $5,000 for a guy that most of them probably never met once in life. Only
That's
ever
crazy.
ran with in
Yeah.
a pixel digital world, which I've got to say, guys, for a small community, DayZ Down Under deserves to be fucking it's
it's amazing.
oh, it blows my mind that they all managed to do this for Doc Satan. It's or Adam Buick, as his real name is. So I found out throughout this week. His family, his mother apparently burst into tears when she was told, and that was only when it was at $3,500. So, you know, for a young guy taken in his prime, it's not good at the best of times. But what Spud and the rest of the DayZ Down Under community have managed to do, like even Adam's best mate in real life has joined the DayZ Down Under community Discord, and he's just blown away by the tributes and the amount of people who've been in there uploading videos of times of Doc just being Doc on the server, and usually he was 3 sheets to the wind, drunk when he was playing as well, and there's countless stories of him falling asleep and his character dying because he starved or dehydrated. But it's just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that's mind blown.
So I just
Yeah,
received
you
a
don't.
message from the real Syntax. He said he thought this was at night. And I've just replied to him, no, 0600 Australian Eastern Standard Time. So I'm not sure if he's going to come in and join us. But yeah, he got the timing modelled up, but that's all teething issues for us with our guests and that. What were you going to say then, Dean?
No, I was just going to echo what you were saying and just add that sometimes although it's online and far away from people, you do connect and they're real feelings.
Yep, they really are. They really are. But no, big salute to Spud and the rest of the team at DayZ Down Under. You guys are absolute fucking legends. That just blows my mind that they've done this.
They are. And I know myself personally from Spud and DayZ Down Under. They're one of the servers that contribute to add-on makers, and servers like that really go a long way to help everybody. And like I say, they've donated to me from keep my little corner of the world going. I'm very grateful to them. People, streamers, they donate. Where they prefer play. They make money out of content and add-ons, and the big ones always give you credit and praise. So
Yeah,
Well,
it's good.
they all work together.
that brings me to another point of the agenda, since we're segueing nicely into it. Let me just whip this.
Not all do, I must add.
But like I said before, Marks and I, probably more so myself. I've been on a bit of a what would you call the way I've been carrying on about modders not getting the recognition they deserve, Marks? Bit of a
Crusade.
crusade. That's
On a
the
bit
word.
of yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah.
But we have seen actually now Foxy from the DayZ Blackout community has actually created a channel, and I'm just I'll bring it up. I can't share this screen because hang about, I should be able to. Such a boomer, aren't I?
Oh, I might be even worse. My screen's all blurred.
There we go. He has created a support modders channel in his Discord, and this is based off of a tweet which I put out of a comment that was left on last week's podcast video, and that was, if I go back to the podcast Discord. I didn't put it in here. But basically, someone actually commented on the video. I think I put it in the general channel. I forgot to add it to the agenda. Someone actually made the suggestion. There it is. Uncle Creepy. Oh, no, I did have it there. That love the DayZ podcast, guys, and would love a survival genre one too. Love Scum, Miscreated, Death Side, Survive the Nights, and even OGR. And there is a long loading screen that servers use to advertise their server. Why not advertise the mod authors and their PayPal account, etc.? If mods get monetized, other mods will copy those mods and make theirs free. It would be held to police. And I think he's got a very good point there, Dean. About I had some suggestions. You probably heard last week's one. That maybe they could a 10 cent or $1 or whatever. And a lot I do understand that then a lot of people just wouldn't be able to afford it, and some of the servers wouldn't have as many people. But I think that's a great idea. And even just doing things like Foxy has done within his Discord, support modders, and just a channel there which has a link to each of the he's got Mungard, John McClane for Deer Isle, War Dog, Masses Many Items, and just a simple link to their PayPal that people playing on the server, if they've had a win on the GGs or sold their Dogecoin or bloody game stocks or something like that and got a bit of extra money, they can slip a $5 or a $10 or if they're feeling really generous, a $50 towards some of their favourite modders. I'm probably going to keep on being on a crusade about this, Dean, but we need to start recognising modders more.
No, you do that, and it's well received by modders. I'm sure that anybody who shouts for the cause. I mean, I think at the end of the day, the big hurdle is the ease, the structure, and getting an easy way for people to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I know myself, if you want to donate to somebody, or do you want to start DayZ and get in the server and crack on, you don't want to put something in the way. There's nowhere really where everybody visits where they can, relax. Apart from we're here now. If you had a click button here, you can't have every mod here, obviously. But there's no simple answer at the end of the day, is there? What mechanism could you put in place apart from? I had a word with Micah once, who does the DayZ launch, and said, look, at the side where it says download these mods, that play button, isn't there somewhere we can put a donate button in there? I can't remember if we talked about it again since, but
I'm certain he could do it, because we had that tool that we showcased a couple of weeks back, Marks. The query tool, which you type it in, and it gives you a link to all the different mods and PayPal that's linked. So I'm certain it would be doable if someone had the time and the brain power to do it. I know I sure as hell couldn't do it. Couldn't code my way out of a wet paper bag, but yeah.
Well, the thing is, tools like that, they absolutely crush the footfall of people going to the Steam page. I mean, I'm probably an average modder, and I have 3 million subscriptions to my Steam add-ons in total.
But do you have a donate link?
I do, yeah. I think I have it on most of my add-ons to support the author.
And how often
However,
would you say you get a donation?
I probably get about $100 a month, something like that. So I do okay.
No,
But
no,
that's not
no.
that's not through me.
That is not
That's not
okay, is it,
through the
Marks?
add-on.
That is not okay. Like, yeah, Marks, you could probably make that easily on one of your good videos, can't you?
Yeah.
And
Well,
yet these
anyway,
guys are making, modding, as we talked about earlier, is the backbone of Bohemia and the backbone of DayZ right now. And for, I know like Sumrak's been receiving some really big donations with the Moleskin that. But and I know, we had the expansion project received $4,000 to $5,000 in donations leading up to it and that. But they seem to be the outliers. $100 a month. Yeah, I know it's a hobby and all, but we need to change this mindset of people that donating to your favorite streamer is great, but also don't forget the people who are making those mods that enable your streamers to be able to keep playing this amazing game.
I think the way Dean said it was like, you don't want something blocking their way. I think you kind of mentioned it, Dean, like where you were like, there's no place for people to kind of relax. Like when you're in a stream, you're going to be sitting there. Some people will sit there for an entire stream, maybe that'd be 3-4 hours, maybe even longer. They have time to consider donating or not, or stuff like that. But when you're kind of loading into a game or stuff like that, you have between 20 seconds and maybe a minute. If you're in a queue, it'll be longer, but like there's not enough time there for people to make their mind up. Now, say if you were in like a popular server and there was a queue and you're waiting an hour or two to get in, servers like that are really popular could do something like that, because you're going to be sitting there looking at that screen for quite a while.
Exactly.
But it's just such a tricky one to, there's no right answer.
What they could do then is amongst the loading screens that pop up during the 15-second countdown, just a simple message: please don't forget to join our Discord, visit the support modding channel, or just something, anything. Those who are doing nothing, not even a fucking channel in their Discord, should hang their heads in shame. I'll fucking say it. They should hang their heads in fucking shame that they're not doing anything to promote supporting the modders. I guarantee nearly every single one of them will have a donate link to support the server. And you said, Dean, that DDU are one of the good communities that support. And I know there are other communities out there that are paying modders and that. But so many of these mods, like I would really, really love to know how much the CFF tools mod gets donated. It's a mod that's pretty much essential to every server out there. How much are they being donated?
Who knows? But the thing is, what I was going to say is two things. Number one, tools like the launchers take your footfall away from Steam. So that's at one of our major avenues gone. So going back to the point I was making, I had like 3 million subscribers to my add-ons, yet my pages have only ever seen something like 200,000 unique visits. So there's a loss of audience there. I know some of it is duplicates. One person can have all my add-ons and be calculated a few times, but even if it's 1 million separate people, still I've only got 200, so I'm losing 800,000 page visits because someone else, and I don't want to get into conflicts, but that add-on that's taking my page visits away has got a donate button. It's using my add-ons for the content on their application, and it's got a donate button. It's just another way. And at the end of the day, add-on makers could put a link on the back of the add-ons. You could load the game up, excuse me, and on the back of your code could be a PayPal link, and we could do that without telling anybody. But we don't. All my add-ons could have a link on the back.
I think as well, that you were saying about having like a donation button or something in the DayZ standalone launcher. Maybe it could be like a PayPal logo or something like that. That then you just click it and it sends you straight to that, your
Yeah,
PayPal page or something like that. It would have to be easy.
yeah,
That was the one
exactly.
thing. It has to be easy for people to just use.
I think you hit on it really, and it's not one I've thought about. Is when they are queuing up, you see it on streams, don't you? Where it says you are 15 in a queue.
Mhm.
And if you had a rotating page at that point, that would be a great way, wouldn't it? Because the server knows what add-on it's using,
Yeah.
and I'm sure an add-on, and I'm willing to get a club together, and we could make a loading screen script that finds out and displays those add-ons that are contained in the server, maybe. But yeah,
There's
Something like that
options.
would
There's
work.
options out there, and it seems every week we come up with something new, Mark. So I think this is going to be a bit of a recurring theme, a bandwagon that I'm definitely on. And I know you've said that when you do mod videos in the future, you're going to mention it if there's a Patreon link and that as well, which is great, mate. The more we can do as a community to help out the people who are making PC DayZ what it is, the better.
Yeah, exactly.
yep. So,
Speaking of modders, bloody War Dog. Dog tags, notes, check identity, and flip transport will receive an update over the period of next week. These will be my final update for the year or indefinitely. DayZ modding is just not enjoyable anymore, so I'm jumping ship. Any previous projects I've been working on will not have any further development. No, this doesn't give you the right to repackage my content and call it yours. Might be here for the rest of the week, but after that I'll be silent for an extended period of time. I've made some good friends out of this community, but all good things must come to an end. What
I
the
didn't actually
actual
see that
fuck?
one. Yeah.
yeah, I recognise that. I think I've made that statement about 12 times over the years, but hopefully, like me, he does come back. But yeah, I
Yeah.
can
Hopefully.
sympathise. I can
I'm
sympathise.
I'm gutted. His dog tags mod. I had that on my server. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. Just his notes mod. What community server doesn't run notes? There's something rotten in the state of Denmark, I think is the saying, Marks.
Yeah. It it must be just like making mods constantly, and it's just your thing 24/7. After a while, you must just go cracked. Just doing that. Like I can see kind of where he's coming from. Where he's just, I'm assuming it's because he's just tired of it, and wants to do something else. Yeah. I can feel where he's coming from at the same time, but he's going to be a big loss to the community as well.
Very, very big loss.
Yeah.
Very, very big.
I think I can sympathise because, to be honest with you, and I don't speak for all modders ever, but personally, we need an impetus and we need feedback from server owners. I was listening to you, Boydie, the other week, and you was talking about another game, could have been Scum about, or was it another server about recipes and how you could craft things? And I thought, that's not very hard to do in DayZ. It could be replicated, and I thought, it sparked me. It sparked my interest, and I've been looking at recipes, thinking, can I make a nice crafting add-on? Add-on makers don't buy it. Just don't go offering $400 for an helicopter and spend it on something nice instead. That's my advice.
Yeah. Scale Speed is saying in chat, paid developers get burnt out pretty quick too. Very difficult job sometimes. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just
I
it just
think
seems like there's a lot of discontent in the community right now. Like we're at a bit of a scary patch, Marks. It just, I don't know. I'm a little bit worried right now, to be honest.
Yeah, that you could see a lot more dropping out. It wouldn't surprise me if it did happen. Especially when there's, very little money or maybe no money at all on it as well. It just makes it even worse. Like, what's the point,
Money
Yeah.
is the root of all evil, but money is a great motivator as well.
Oh, 100%.
Right, gets things done.
It
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
I think did you see recently the deletion of a lot of rogue add-on makers, shall we say, on the
Yeah.
workshop? I think
Yep. We talked about that last week.
the Bohemia finally let their chap loose. Was it because of a new Steam ruling that the developer has to deal with all that now, or should? I guess it's
I'm not
just,
sure. I'm not sure.
yeah.
When I
So
asked them
I
about it,
heard
they
a
didn't say
rumour.
nothing. Warden didn't say nothing about it, but yeah.
I heard a rumor that Steam had delegated that to the software house now, whereas once they would have looked after it. Right up to
We've just been joined by our fellow modder / map making genius, DanceofJesus. Dean, how you doing?
good evening.
Pretty good, man. How's it going?
Good. So, what do you know about War Dog leaving, mate?
Me?
Yeah.
Not much, honestly. It's probably just burned out, you know.
It's fucking sad, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean he's great. So
He's one of those shining stars of the modding community right now, and to lose him to another game or something like that really, really hurts the game. A lot of people probably don't care, but to me, that's really disconcerting. Seeing a guy who was doing some truly amazing stuff, just up and I've had enough. I need to go away.
Yeah. Well, like you say, and I agree, there's a good feeling that the game's at a crossroads right now, and it's going to be interesting to see where it heads.
Yeah, I know a lot of modders did. I know someone was spoken about on the podcast. I had a lot of they were frustrated with the dev team as well because there was like a lot of lack of communication between them and stuff. So which made stuff even worse on top of what they already had to deal with, and all that just builds up. And at some stage, you just gotta cut your losses, really, don't you?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Doesn't make it any better though. It still fucking hurts when
Yeah.
you lose talent like that. Just really, really sad. Really, really sad.
Well, it's,
And
besides bikes, what would you say it's lacking at the moment? What big kicker does it need?
look, I'll go straight to one thing, and this is a bit out of the PC spectrum, but
Survivor games.
yes, Survivor games, but we need to work out a way, and this is based on feedback from the console community, because again, we had some feedback, and guilty as charged, that we focus too much on PC when the console is, and like your poll show marks, a lot of people watching DayZ right now aren't playing on PC; they're console players. So I know we can't get the mods over, but surely, and this is, I'll turn to you for this, DOJ, because you're a bit of a map guru. But surely there's got to be a way that they can get the fucking community maps over.
I don't think so because the way I make maps, or like the mapping I've done so far is just you put the objects in the init.c file, and even that, like, it's only like certain objects you can do on the console. But the way like a map works is literally the same as a any script, like it's a PBO, so it won't work on console, I think.
I don't know. I'm guilty of this, Marks, of saying, surely, I'm not going to say it's easy because I always get told that's the worst thing you could ever say. But surely there's got to be a way they can work on it, Marks. Surely, even just say something publicly for them.
Yeah, I saw like you put a channel in the Discord about asking console players about content, and even just the content version of the game, or the console version of the game itself, just seems to be lacking a lot of content.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of makes sense. Like, I can see how people kind of get a bit angry at it after a while. I think there needs to be the game's in a state now where it's just constant bug fix. I know they add in bits of content here and there, but they need like a big content update to keep both sides very happy, I think.
Because let's be honest, let's be honest, Dean. If it hadn't have been for modding, and yes, I know the argument that the modders were only able to get the state of the game to where they are because the core engine was in a good place. But if it hadn't have been for modding, we wouldn't be seeing the numbers we see on PC now.
No.
So they've
No,
got to
no.
do something with console as soon as they possibly fucking can, or they're going to have the same problem they had with PC, a massive uptake and then a massive drop off. When people get bored with, and when there's other contenders coming out, Rust is going to console as well, I believe.
Mm-hmm. It's in base
Yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah. So they've got to fucking do something, Dean.
Well, something's happening, isn't it? I mean, what are they concentrating on, the next armor or what? I don't know, but even the recent updates have been lacking, haven't they?
Look,
they
I
did
understand
say-
that because they said they're polishing, but
Yeah, they
as
said
well as
that, yeah,
polish,
but
they've
is
got to
that-
do
is that-
they've got to do something else, Dean.
Of course they do. Yeah, if like you say, they can't keep polishing the same stuff, people will get bored with it, won't they? Or
Yeah.
move on. Like you say, I mean, there's free game. I watched Twitch today. I watched this streamer I usually watch, and I was watching him for about 5 minutes, and I realized he wasn't playing DayZ. He was playing some free survival game on Steam. I don't know. It's all becoming the same, isn't it?
I think
Would you-
before what happened was everybody on PC was kind of content with, the bug fixes and stuff like that. But then when it came to console and millions of more players suddenly came into it, they mightn't have been necessarily thinking that the console players would have the same kind of, I don't even know what the word, same understanding as PC players. As bug fix is going to take a
Yeah.
long time. People just want the game to work, and they want it to work now, not 6 months down the road, because they expect it to be kind of like, I think on console they expect it to be more like Call of Duty, where you just load it up and it works, and there's tons of content there.
Yeah.
But it's the complete opposite nearly.
Scale
I don't
speed, you just
even
hit on
know
something,
where-
DOJ. Armor 4 will be BI's absolute main priority at the moment. It's going to make them hundreds of $1 million, and I bet it's coming to next-gen consoles. I know they're still recruiting for DayZ. They talk about it. You can go to the website, but yeah, I think, I hate to fucking say it, but DayZ's just not a priority.
I mean, from what Lieutenant said, Lieutenant Master, they kind of want to get rid of DayZ from what I know. I'm not sure. Maybe it's not what he said, but yeah, I think they just want to move on. DayZ has been out here for like what, 7 years?
More.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2012, they started working on it. So,
So
it's
do you
coming
think
on 9
then-
years.
Do you think then that there will be a lot of DayZ content creators and probably even players once Armor 4 comes out? And if it does go to console as well, we'll just move to that? Because Armor 4 will probably get a DayZ mod at some stage.
Yes. Yeah.
And when that happens,
I
I
think
think-
you'll bang on the money there.
And if
I
it's that
would
way, or if it's that way where, DayZ is kind of left to the side and Armor 4 becomes this thing, DayZ content creators will have no other choice but to start going to Armor 4 once a mod comes out for that. And
I mean,
if
I'm gonna say it.
I'll be jumping ship. I'll be jumping ship right away. I'll be honest. It's just promises so much more.
What were you going to
What's
say,
even
Diggo J?
I'm gonna say I bet 100% there's gonna be a DayZ 2. There's no way they miss the opportunity.
wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. I
Is
wonder,
there any info on what Armor 4 will run on? Is it based on the DayZ now, or is it something brand new?
So something I've just recently learnt, and DOJ, you might be able to help on this as well, is that DayZ runs on a bit of a bastard engine. Is that correct, DOJ?
Yep.
Can you explain it?
It's a mix of. So, from what I know, and I don't know a lot, alright? Like the
You know more than
graphic
me.
engine. Yeah, I hope. I mean, I'm not very good at, like. To be fair, I might have been modding for like 2-3 years, but I'm still not that good, you know. But from what I know, the graphic engine is still Arma 2, which is the reason why like you can't import like high polygon models. It's limited to like 30k polygons or something, which is pretty low. And I think that's it. You know, it's just like the script and the graphical part that are different, but yeah, I think that's it.
Whereas Arma 4 is going to be on the full Enfusion engine.
The full.
Hopefully.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cannot wait to get like import more than 30k polygons models, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
So
yeah,
do you
this,
think
this DayZ, is it? This one we're on now is a mix of, was it Take on Helicopters and what was the other game? Gaia Command or something like that, was it? It was like a commander thing with a big spaceship.
the Mars thing, Mars or something, take on Mars or
I said, yeah, that's another iteration, isn't it? So, because they still use technology that uses the P3D format for the models, and I guess Arma 4 will get rid of that finally, and that's that done. The legacy from the old engine will be gone. So we're not there yet.
so. Yeah, look,
Yes.
I hate to fucking say it, Marks, but yeah, there's a bit of a thing for people working on stuff for DayZ. Is it worth it when we can probably expect Arma 4 in the next 12 months? I'm going to guess. That's based on nothing. That's just a guess. But and yeah, sure as shit, there'll be a DayZ mod released ASAP for it, and if it's going to be better than DayZ for graphics and player controller and more vehicles and helicopters, and you're probably going to see 99% of the community jump ship.
Especially if it has like the controls that like DayZ have now. You know, where in Arma 3 now it's all it's the old control. If it has the standard controls that we use in DayZ standalone now, and running on Arma 4, yeah, I'd see a lot of people would jump ship very quickly. I'd say, especially if it's on console.
How and what do you think the percentage is of hardcore DayZ players in the scene now? The survivors, the looters. Does it tell you on who plays on community servers versus official? Is there some kind of data for that? Because I think those people who play on vanilla will stay where they are, won't they? I don't think there's much in Armed Assault 4 for them really, beyond
True.
helicopters and tanks. Which
I think. Well, I know from just kind of playing vanilla servers every once in a while that a lot of them are not very full. They'd be full on update days, but that's about it. So I'm guessing this, like the hardcore vanilla players, like your survivalist type players, is probably quite low.
because that's who's going to be left, isn't it? Let's face it. Because
yeah,
going back to what I was saying, I don't believe personally, and of course it's all subjective and based on the info we have. I don't think Armed Assault 4 or Arma 4, sorry, will offer a better interface than DayZ has right now for DayZ type gaming. Personally, I think an add-on maker will have to write it. You know, the looting mechanism, how things go in your inventory, etc. So it won't be a miracle first day everybody get over to Arma 4, I don't think. Although everybody's going to have a look just out of sheer curiosity, aren't they?
oh yeah, 100% that'll go.
I like what Scale Speed just said in chat. BI have a limited number of staff. I'd imagine once Arma 4 is mostly done, they'll switch to DayZ too. And DayZ's been a big money earner for them. There's no denying that, especially on console. That's probably the one caveat here, the one wild card that we have is the console version of DayZ. We're talking about DayZ in terms of, we're being very PC focused again, DOJ. That, it's been 9 years. But how long has it been on console now? Less than 2 years?
Yeah.
So,
Let me check.
as much as I remember back in the day, people were saying console's gonna ruin DayZ. We could probably actually state console has saved DayZ to an extent. Would you agree with that, DOJ?
I think so, yeah. Because I
Yeah.
mean, consoles have like the most players, so
Mm-hmm. So next
Plus,
time
it's
we
gonna
make fun of our little
attract more people.
console brothers and sisters, remember that if it wasn't for them, we probably wouldn't have the support we still have for the game.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Honest-
yeah. Console DayZ has sold a lot of PCs, Dean. How many times do you see it, mate? I bought it on PC because console's just not good enough.
It's true, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you know what? Modding
Yeah.
saved DayZ, fuck consoles.
I remember.
Get over it.
I remember when they put Armed Assault on the console. They made mods then, so maybe the new generation console players just don't want it enough.
Yeah.
I think it was on Xbox, wasn't it? Cold War Crisis. Or...
I wouldn't. Personally, I wouldn't mind a DayZ 2.
Yeah. I'd love
I'd
to.
like it.
Look,
What would it consist of, though? Beyond, I don't see.
I
mean,
think
I
it
would
could.
like,
I think.
I would like
Fuck it.
to know it on there.
Fuck it. We've just got a new topic. What would you like to see in DayZ 2? I think I saw someone post that somewhere, and I
Volumetric
think
cloud.
Sorry.
Volumetric clouds.
Volumetric cloud. New maps. I'd like to see all new
Yes.
maps. I think they could probably release Churnerus down the line, but I think to begin with, it'd be great to see a brand new map that's never been seen before, designed exclusively for DayZ, so that no one knows nothing about it. No one knows it. Everyone on there is lost and having to discover this huge 225 square kilometre land all for the first time.
Even bigger. You could go even bigger if you really wanted to.
Yeah, probably.
It'd be just nice to have like new mechanics, and I don't know, like a lot of people always say, will DayZ ever get a new graphical overhaul and stuff like this? I mean, I see DayZ in like a different, I don't know, what's the way, kind of a different setting, kind of scene. I can't figure the words that I'm trying to.
You're looking at chat and just seeing why I'm laughing, aren't you? Fucking scale speeder. Trolling me in chat. Cheeky fucker. I need a cheeky fucker command on my stream deck. Everyone gets me with something every fucking podcast, mate. They always do. But yeah, it would be amazing. Yeah, that's actually got me. I was feeling all down and out, like, fucking is DayZ on the downward spiral again. And then it's like, well, no, logically, it makes sense for them to do a DayZ too. And instead of it being, all a gradual, slow process, getting it out and releasing it on PC and console as much as possible at the same time. Obviously, PC would probably go first and Xbox because they can do the early access on it. PlayStation doesn't have that, does it, Marks?
No, it doesn't. You get it early with the Xbox Game Pass. It'd be cool to. It'd be cool if there was a lot more content when the game first came out, like more vehicles, maybe even helicopters, because the engine might be suitable for it. People are saying like having horses that you could ride around, maybe bicycles even that are just kind of scattered around the place. Stuff like that would be tigers even, if there's a jungle map.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. It'd be really cool. A lot of options I think you could do with DayZ 2. A lot of ways it could go.
I think there'd be interest. I do. Because that said, they're like we said, they've got to pull their game up. Because there's a lot of games that are making some massive inroads, such as Rust going to console. Scum is on the up and up now as well. They've got a big patch coming soon, and some of the stuff they've got, and they're still in early access, leaves DayZ for dead when it comes to crafting and base building and stuff like that. So, yeah, maybe they are starting to focus on Did someone say rollerblade? Hell yeah, we want rollerblades in the apocalypse.
I made a rollerblade add-on for Armor 3.
Ah,
Funny.
awesome. But yeah, no, definitely something of interest. Something else that was of interest was March, you did your second highlights video.
Yeah,
I loved it, mate.
I did.
I loved it.
Oi, oi.
It's some good comments on it. Where is it?
Just I just brought it up, sharing the screen now. Timpy's thumbnails are a crime against humanity. No, some really good comments, which kind of gave me the inspiration for why we've got DanceofJesus on. He's not just show jumping in; he's actually in here to talk about a topic later on, because there were some accusations made about expansion mod, but we'll get to that soon. But yeah, Mark's, it was your video, mate. What was the ones that stuck out to you?
There were a lot of people who were who paid for. There was some people in there that paid for Nightwolf's heli mod and stuff like that, and some people said they got it and it never worked. And paying that amount of money for something that just never works and stuff is they'll never do it again. A lot of people were also saying DayZ modding isn't meant to be kind of looked at as a job. If you want to earn money from it, you go and become a programmer, which I can see both sides too. But again, it's it's a tricky one. A lot of modders themselves spoke up and were like, they don't mind getting donations and stuff, but again, they were even also agreeing that it can be very kind of gray lines and stuff around monetization and stuff like that as well. Yeah, a lot of people were, I think it was kind of 50-50 on the entire kind of monetization mods thing, stuff like that.
That's a very interesting comment right there, isn't it, Dean? I tried joining a few DayZ modding groups. Either just got ignored or just given a massive list of things to do without vetting me, basically expecting me to work for free. Meanwhile, the actual work they were producing was really poor quality, no understanding of the engine or how shaders, material textures work, and they kept asking for donations so they could purchase pre-made models from Turbo Squid. I noped out of that one quickly.
Yeah, just be very careful. It's like any community. There's thieving, bastards and rogues. The thing to watch out for is just go and look at their Steam page and see what they've made beforehand, and look at the comments on their add-ons. It's or come to a place like your Discord, my Discord. I'm allowed to shout my own name.
Yeah.
People who have some knowledge on the subject, so you can get advice. Don't, like I say, the problem for us add-on makers is, I'll tell you my own experience. I've had the Discord now for maybe 2 years. I have people who come there pretending that, oh, this is great, I want to learn, when really they want to make add-ons and sell them. Just 3 or 4 months ago, I nearly completely said, you know what, forget this, it's not worth it. Because I had people coming there, they were selling add-ons to people. They weren't competent and couldn't make them properly, so they were bringing them to my Discord to ask me questions, or people in my Discord, on how to fix this broken add-on they'd paid $200 or $300 for, and that's what happens. And unfortunately, if servers are going to pay people like that who they don't know and have no knowledge about, it's not going to stop, is it? If you keep feeding them, they're going to grow, aren't they? Basically.
Yeah.
It's a shame, but that's the virtual world we live in, isn't it?
What's this about Minecraft having tons of paid mods? Does anyone know what that means? What that comment's about?
No.
I've never seen any paid mod for Minecraft.
I haven't either. Yeah.
Because I've played it, but I've never done the mods on Minecraft, so I don't know what that comment's about. I wouldn't mind. Well, we've got a reply to it. The point is on property like a design model, then overpriced can technically laugh in the dead space in a legal way if they don't shut that choice of actions down. Other than that, I completely agree with you. So that would be interesting to know more about it. Dazzy Boy, I've never heard of Base Building Plus being pulled down for copyright textures. DOJ or Dino, do you know anything about that?
No.
I heard. I think one was pulled down for the content was. I don't know what the infringement was, whether it was Armour 3 files or something like that. Well, I don't know which one it was. And could see some guy came in in my Discord about 4 months ago and put a link to the whole of DayZ unpacked. So obviously I banned him right away and reported it. But there's people like that who just, I don't know. They spoil it for everybody, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
But like I say, I reported that straight away, and I guess it happens every week. It must do.
See, a lot of people were talking about, the fact that you shouldn't get into modding to make money. That it gets ruined when money comes into play and all the rest of it. But I'm of the belief that yes, initially it'd be great if your motivations was altruistic, but there needs to be a way to not just rely on that 1 in 1 million chance that BI is going to look at your mod and go, you're going to be our next Dean Hall, and make millions and millions of dollars and get to climb Mount Everest and start your own gaming company in New Zealand. The chances of that are absolutely fuck all. But why shouldn't someone be able to make the same as streamers get? Most streamers start as a hobby, and then they get to a point where it can become a full-time job for them. I would love to see that same thing come across to modding. I don't know how you guys feel about that, DOJ and Dean. DOJ?
Can you say again, please?
I would love to see it get to the point for modders where people have said before that you shouldn't money ruins it, and it should be forever free and just a hobby, and that's the way it's always been. But I don't think it should be the kicking point of there should be a way for modders to start making an income and maybe even a living from what they do, and not just relying on being that lucky person that BI say, you're going to be our next Dean Hall, we're going to pay you millions of dollars.
I mean, I somewhat agree, but I mean, I never started modding just for the money,
Yeah. But when we leave it like that, then it comes down to we get situations like War Dog, where fuck it, it's too much now. I don't like it anymore. There's no financial incentive to establish yourself and become a you see it with we use last week's creator artist spotlight, Dr. Strangelove. He's pretty much the go-to guy now. He has people waiting months for him to be available to do artwork for him. Wouldn't it be great to see modding go that way, where the likes of yourself as a map creator, you could say, I've got commissions open now. I can do map modifications for you. But yeah, I don't know. What do you reckon, Dean?
The question is, what is it you're paying for? Is it, if it's just a retexture of an existing asset, then for the average add-on maker, it'll take about 10-15 minutes. So you don't want to be giving somebody $50 for that. But DayZ now is very complex because most add-ons don't just need a config and a couple of textures and a model. We're now talking about the use of .c. So you've got to know about scripts, and you've got to write scripts. So there's with every iteration of a Bohemia game, it gets harder and harder. And some people are putting like 30 and 40 hours in a week to create their add-ons. When I first started, even in Armed Assault, it was 6 or 7 months to make a terrain. These days, it's maybe 18 to 2.5, dare I say 3 years to make a proper map, you know, a proper map. You can release it early and develop it as you release, but how much would you pay somebody for 3 years' work? Would you expect it for free in any other walk of life? No, you wouldn't.
No,
So
and that's
do they deserve something? Yes, they do. It should be proportionate to what it is they're giving you.
where it'd be great if it was a more structured process to it. In that, you know, an economy always rises. Look at a DayZ server. An economy arises for trade, depending on the loot table and things like that. And as you know, if you want to get Windstride to do artwork for you, you're going to pay more than someone who isn't as well known as Windstride. If you want map modding done, you're going to pay DOJ more because he's got an established reputation, as opposed to someone who says, "Yeah, I could do that for you." You're not going to know how good they are. So, yeah, it just needs to be more mainstream and more accepted to be able to do that sort of stuff for you guys.
It goes
Maybe-
back to what I was saying. It needs a mechanism, and I think it's unfair and unjust how add-on makers are denied sometimes the opportunity that other elements of users of the game have. You know, if you look how restricted it is for add-on makers to make a book, in comparison to server owners and streamers, it's well, it isn't fair, is it? Let's have it right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they need a way like on the Steam workshop or something. This I'm just saying this off the top of my head now, but maybe they need something like a verified system for modders.
Yeah,
where
we talked about
modders
that
have
last
to
week.
go
It's a good
through a
idea.
process. So, if they keep uploading high quality work or something, it's review. I don't know how they do it, so don't even ask me because I'm just putting the idea out there. But some type of verified system. So then you get verified as a modder, and you can go to this person, you can trust this person, and know that their work is good or something like that. I don't know how they do it, but just
You're
thought of it.
hitting on a big part of the problem. How it can't be really made official because of the content within. Who's going to vet it?
I think
Who
we
owns
said
that?
this last week. I think there's potential, Dean, for a third-party app to be created, and someone who's got that sort of tech savvy, they can start to consolidate, like a Fiverr for modding.
Yeah, someone's going to crack it, and they're. I would say it's well worth putting the effort into coming up with that mechanism for allowing modders to legally make a book, because when everything goes underground, it doesn't go well in any scenario, does it?
No, people get ripped
You know.
off and scammed and all the rest of it, and
Exactly.
whereas if there was someone did it and they screened, the person has to have examples of their work uploaded, and they go through, and you'd be looking at maybe a year or so of being in the community, creating mods and something like that, and would like to invite you to join the modder certification program.
Maybe they need to have like a quality standard or something that you kind of have to meet for your mods.
They go through and they
before you get
review the
verified
comments
as well
on the
and stuff.
mod on the Steam Workshop, and look at forums and stuff like that.
Yeah, something like not my builder, but my add-on maker.
Yeah. As Pindai's saying in chat, you would need to review every mod update to screen for malicious or stolen content. So it'd need to be, people would be looking at a way to monetize it. But, it's
Probably
it's
a
an
way
option.
you could automate that or something, like YouTube's flag system or something like that.
Yeah.
Probably an easier way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the danger zone, isn't it? It's like the chap in the chat said, IP theft and copyrights and all that. It's a minefield. But anyway, to put another perspective on it, not every add-on maker wants to do this for money. There are lots that don't, and the other alternative is to watch my tutorials. Make your own.
Now, we've got a Patreon topic from Scalespeeder who's in chat. With Rust in private beta on console at the moment and the game's impressive PC Steam stat, have any of the hosts or panel been tempted to play Rust? Or have they considered creating content for Rust, as we're on the verge of a massive explosion in interest in the game when it releases on PlayStation and Xbox? I'll start it off and say I've had no interest. I call Rust the 4chan of survival games. That said, I have looked at some of the Stimpy videos. I love Stimpy's videos, even with his horrible thumbnails that make me gag every time I open up a video. But the actual game, no. Some of the gameplay mechanics, I've said this before many a time on the podcast. One of the biggest complaints with base building in DayZ is offline raids. Rust has got some great defense mechanisms built into bases. So you raid at your own peril. Scum's doing the same. You can trap your base. DayZ's pretty much got nothing like that. So that does interest me, but playing it, no. What about you, Marks?
I have the game. I bought it. I've never installed it. When it blew up a couple of months back with that Twitch server that was out, I was tempted to stream it, but I never pulled the trigger on it. I don't know. I'll never say never to it. You never know what's going to happen down the road. But for right now, no, I haven't pulled that trigger yet.
DOJ?
I thought about buying it, but I'm waiting for like a big update. There was like a graphical update that was supposed to come, but I'm waiting for that for now. So.
And what about you, Dean?
No, I got as far as watching people play it on Twitch, and that was me done. It seemed like too toxic community.
I think there'll be a lot of interest myself.
I think it'll be interesting to see the console player numbers for DayZ when that game officially releases. I don't know what the price for it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be the same as DayZ or cheaper. I'm not sure how much even Rust is on Steam. But it's going to be interesting to see, will those DayZ numbers dip with the rise of Rust, and see will they stay low or what will happen. It'll be interesting to see in the coming weeks or months whenever it releases what will happen with it.
I think one of the we were talking before about what we would like to see in DayZ 2, and we had a comment. I was reviewing the comments on the video uploads I've done, and Uncle Creepy 27 again. He was the guy who suggested the loading screens, but also he made a comment on one of the videos. Why can't we layer clothing in DayZ? It is such a simple thing, and I guarantee every single person watching the podcast right now, watching the video, and in the panel right now, has sat there and thought, why can't I wear a t-shirt and a raincoat over the top? Why do I have to choose one or the other? Surely, and this is where I know I'm going to be getting told, it's never as easy as you think, but surely it can't be that hard to add some extra slots. DOJ?
Yeah.
That's not for me. I know it's probably not. I mean, it's not easy, like you said, but I think the one that can talk about it is Dinos for sure, because I'm
Dinos?
pretty sure like I talked about it with expansion guys, but nah, it's too complicated. I think script wise and.
Lad in chat is just saying it would mean redoing the entire inventory and character system.
Yeah, it'd be much harder than just adding a new slot. Although you could sudo do it with scripts and config. I think basically what it is when you put a body part on, like your jacket and that, it's what's known as a proxy. So it's slotted into place. It's not, you don't start off as a full body in DayZ as far as well, you do when you get in game, but it's made up of parts, and you can't put you can't put another part on top of certain parts, basically, as far as I recall.
What are you trying to accomplish exactly, like with attachments?
Why can't we have layered clothing?
You could. You very much could. You would have to. So from what I understand, the player is basically just a moving inventory, right? So you have like you have like your head, your helmet slot, you have your head slot, your eyewear, your shirt, your pants, whatever, right? If you wanted to add more slots to that, it's totally possible. Or what you could do is you could make a shirt that allows for several pieces of clothing to be added to the shirt itself. So the shirt just goes in your torso slot, and then you put a jacket on top of that inside of the shirt slot. And then you could have, like, I don't know, anything like cufflinks or a bow tie if you want to attach to it. Because you can make more attachments on the shirt itself if you want to. But I'm pretty sure you can still modify the player's attachments as well if you wanted to. It's possible.
There's a mod for someone to make. If it can be done, I think you would make a lot of people very happy if you could have, predominantly the upper body, layered clothing. Be able to put a raincoat over the top of a jacket or a t-shirt or a military shirt or whatever.
What would it do though? It'd have to have a purpose, right? Like, is it just for looks?
The raincoat's the obvious one. Just being able to put a raincoat on over the top of your jacket, so you still keep that inventory space of the larger jacket, and you've got the protection from a raincoat. Obviously, there'd be a bit of complexity to it. I'm guessing, Dean and Dab, that it would probably overheat. It could overheat you on a map like Livonia, a bit of a hotter map. It'd be something you'd have to balance, but it's at least you've got the option. And for a map like the moles, you could layer a shirt, a t-shirt, a jumper, a jacket, and a raincoat, and just think of the heat buff you'd get from all of that.
No, you can do it, like they said, but it'd have to be something like a total conversion, almost like an expansion, because you're messing with the core projects of the P3D attachments, etc. But in terms of warmth, yeah, I mean, I made some battery-powered gloves and a battery-heated jacket for the mouse, so it's all doable.
Because I've mentioned it before, I'm playing Scum again, and Scum has layered clothing, and it's good because you can't just. I initially went around and, being the loot whore that I am, was like, fuck yeah, I could have 10 items of clothing on and carry all this extra loot. And the next thing I look at my character and I'm blinking red or temperature for DayZ speak. I was overheating, so I had to sit there and go, oh shit, okay, I can't wear all of this clothing, so I've got to take stuff off. It just added that little element to it. I'd love to see it from the moles though, Dab.
I think you're gonna have like a lot of issues with balancing, for instance, because like if you think about it, the shirts in the Molsk, they'll have between like 20 and 40 slots on the shirt itself.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're gonna wear layered clothing, how are you gonna handle that with other slots? Are you gonna give people 120 slots when they wear 3 shirts, or are you gonna have one shirt do the inventory and the rest of them are just for the sake of heat?
Yeah.
So then you have balancing, or do you just lower the capacity of all the shirts down to 10, and then expect people to have 3 shirts on all the time? How are you gonna balance that? That's really the big question of the directions that you want to take with that.
Or you just download the DBO the mouse clothing, and if you put 4 9-volt batteries together, you can craft a heated jacket.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have been joined by the one and only Inclement Dab, modding god extraordinaire, and he has come on to talk about the big news this week. The creator server finally launched.
Yeah, it did, but there's like a lot. So there's a lot that has happened like in the last 24 hours on Creator Z. So I think it's a little bit more important to talk about that than anything else.
Yep.
Like we there was, when we first launched, there was a couple of people who said, oh, they won't play for, XYZ. It's whatever. We're not really worried about that. But in general, like there was like a very big culture shock that happened last night. That I think is much more important to talk about. To give some context, essentially what happened was there's a couple of players on the server who built their own base up north, and it was essentially like culturally known as the the safe zone, the neutrals area, right? And not a whole lot of people like really knew that. Not a whole lot of newer people at least knew that. So Saramore, everybody knows Saramore. He joined last night, very late, and he joined with the explicit intent of going around and finding someone to raid, because we are air quotes, he would call it a baser server. So he joined the baser server and he wanted to go raid someone. I mean, that's fine. You're going to go get your content out of it, give somebody else some content in the process. It was good. And it started off really, really good because it was him, Peanut, and like one other person I think was playing with them. And they ran around and they found the base that they ended up finding was the one in Jalavisca. They found Granny's base, the neutral zone.
Yep.
And it ended up becoming like this really, really long, drawn-out 4-hour raid where they kept going back after dying over and over. And personally, I watched it. I watched it very closely as an admin, but also as a viewer. And as an admin, no rules were broken, but also as a viewer, I was thoroughly entertained from all perspectives. But what ended up happening was there was a lot of some issues that occurred like within the defenders, air quotes, like with this kind of base, and they had different expectations for the server, and they were really upset because they were like, oh, well, we're supposed to be a neutral zone. Why would you attack a neutral zone? Well, it's like, well, it's a PvP server, it's not an RP server, so we're not going to stop that per se, but like understand that like this is kind of something that's just going to happen. And I think a lot of people got really, really pissed off at Saramore. He became like public enemy #1 on the server for a while. There was some other people, like for instance, Cairo. Cairo left. Cairo was really, really upset because he was like, well, why are these guys being such scumbags? And the thing is, like, Saramore went in, he followed the rules, he played by the rules. And I've seen Saramore get banned from other servers for doing exactly this. He got banned from Karma Crew because he raided somebody's base, he played within the rules, and then he left, and then he got banned. And I'm like, that's some serious bullshit. So I'm not banning anyone out of this entire situation because I think that's just a terrible way to do stuff. But I think there was like a big culture shock that happened this weekend that I think people realized.
This comes down, Dab, to something, and I'm disappointed that this happened, to be honest, because I put a post into the chat, you probably remember, and it's a lesson that was taught to me by Spud from DayZ Down Under, because I've been guilty of prima donnaing myself, and how could they do that to me? Yada yada yada, and I had it explained to me, and that's pretty much what my outline of that post in the Discord was whilst it might not be enjoyable for you, what you've got to remember, and I pointed out to people, the biggest clash is going to be between the RPers and the PvP action people, because your server's seeing a convergence of two main play styles: the PvP action-based people and the RPers. And the RPers need to be aware that they're choosing to come and play on a server that also allowed PvP. They can't expect RP rules to be enforced. Whilst it might not have been enjoyable for them, the probably 500 to 1,000 people watching Saramore would have, I guarantee it, to almost a viewer, been loving him. I watched that guy myself. He's one of the most entertaining DayZ content creators out there, and for them to be butthurt that they took an L, sometimes taking an L is just as good as taking a dub, and that's what people need to be aware of. Dab.
Yeah, I'm actually messaging Saramore right now to see if he's on. Yeah, there's like, it's very much, and I even iterated this like last night. Like, we're not an RP server. We're not going to initiate things like new life rule, stuff like that. There are other steps that players can take to negate the issues that they had last night. Like one of the big complaints to me was, they're just able to just respawn and run right back. Well, that's going to happen when you base all the way up north. That's DayZ.
Yeah.
They're just that's just gonna happen. If you're gonna be up in Jalavisca, you're gonna be all the way up north, right you're in the literal spawn zone. I can spawn about 100 meters from your house. People are going to just do that. So the best thing that you can do to negate that is to just build down south. Now, the problem with that is you're also far away from home, which is why we are currently, as modders, we are working on a new base system. You've even seen, like, if you've watched anybody stream on Creator C and they died, you can see on the respawn screen, they have an option to respawn at their base. It's not in yet, but we are working on getting it in as fast as we can.
Can I just say that respawn at base is...
Well, it's going to be very balanced. Very balanced.
PvP servers, that's a very good mod.
It's what's going to end up happening is if you get raided, you're going to get one respawn at your base for your defense, and that's it. Then you're going to be stuck on cooldown for ages.
Like it. That's good.
That'll work.
Because you have, and one of the reasons I'm glad you came on, mate, is you touched on it before. A lot of people are choosing not to play it for whatever reason. I don't really want to go into that. I made a statement on Twitter about it. It pissed me off. But these people are missing out on seeing some first-class fucking work, Dean. Some of the shit I've seen that is noises, moving things around in your inventory. Oh my fucking God, that just,
Yeah.
it's such a simple little thing, Dean, but it adds to the immersion. So much adds to the immersion.
Mm. Yeah, there's lots of hidden servers with modifications that you wouldn't even imagine. I saw a streamer on Twitch the other day. They were putting stuff in a locker in what's the island called? The latest DLC, Livonia. When they got to the Chernus, they opened the locker there. Everything was in that locker, kind of thing. So they were playing up two terrains.
But you've even got the throw the rock up in the air mod in Clement Dab. Has anyone managed to do a robbery yet by knocking someone out with a stone?
I haven't seen a robbery yet, but we knocked Sour out a couple times and it was really, really funny. On the first night, it was me and Syl and Jarvis all running around, and we all kept chucking rocks at each other. It was just fun. The whole like a lot of that kind of stuff is really just to make it more fun and just to be enjoyable for people, and that's really what we're trying to accomplish.
It's brilliant, mate. I was watching DigiBlast, and he was talking about it, and he threw a rock up in the air and then moved himself so it hit him in the head, and it knocked him out. I was just like, yes, yeah, these sorts of things. You know, the viewers of the big channels that are choosing not to play it, they would absolutely love it. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're releasing all of these mods to everyone after creators, aren't you?
Yeah, I am. Everything's going public. The base building mod might not, but that's up to the guys who paid for it. But everything else that I've written is going public.
Fair enough. That's just awesome, mate.
I might even make the server public at this point.
I think there'd be a lot of people who'd be very happy too, mate. And I have been. How many people did you end up? What's been your max pop so far?
I think we hit 30 at some point.
Nice.
So we haven't hit full cap yet, but we're getting closer.
Yep. Because again, one of my pet peeves, DOJ, is when people say, "Oh, there's not enough people on that server. I'm not going to join yet." It doesn't get to enough people if people don't take a chance. And the shit that they've done on that server, everyone should be fucking jumping on there who's streaming.
I kind of knew that was going to happen, that it was going to be hard to have people on it, because, I mean, everyone does it, like everyone who plays a lot on full pop servers, they don't join like the low pop ones, so they just wait, but no one joins at the end.
And if everyone camps out, then no one's going to go in.
Yeah.
And we had like an organized, we even had like an organized thing on Friday night where it's like, all right, everybody's going in at this time, we're all going to play. And we did. And it was very fun. We had a good time. And then like as the evening got progressed on, it got more and more into the whole PvP thing. And then Sarah Moore hopped on, and then everything kind of went up really fast when Sarah Moore hopped on. It was just, that's when the server fucking exploded for about an hour.
Yep.
You could hear gunshots.
I still remember watching Ray on the first day. Oh my God, he was so beautiful to watch. Those clips I shared in the Discord, I'll see if I can find one. But literally one of the best moments of it should go down in DayZ folklore. Uncle Ray, was it Syl he took out?
I don't know. He got me yesterday though. I was pissed.
Here it is here. So he's been tied up.
Let me help you! Let me help you! This is what you get, bitch! This is what you got! This is what you got!
Sal!
He's dead!
Oh crap.
The timing of the EVR storm, just
Fuck you!
absolute mental moment.
You're next! I'm global!
As Ms. Fu said in chat there, this is what you get. It was quite literally one of the best moments I've ever seen in DayZ. I'll remember this till the day I die. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but that was just absolutely gold.
Sal!
He's dead!
Oh crap.
And these are the moments that are being created on the set. I know this could have happened anywhere, but when you're seeing such a convergence of people, it's awesome. Dude, the reason that and correct me if I'm wrong here, Dad, but the reason they chose the moles is because it's a smaller map, so it's likely to get more increased chances of interactions. Is that right, Dad?
Yeah, it's much easier for us to sort of moderate the whole interaction, because the way that we have it set up is if you're north of the land bridge, so the bridge that cuts everything off, it's the dam and then the marsh land bridge. If you're north of that, we have we're a little bit more strict on how we on interactions. So you can obviously kill people, but if you're going to do it, you got to give someone some content somehow. You got to have a plan, or you've already done it. Like for instance, like I was in Vorkuta and I was taunting Frankie over the radio, and I'm like, Frankie, I'm going to come kill you. And then I went up a ladder and I kept talking to him as I shot him in the head. And then all of his friends freaked out. They were all running around like ants on top of the roof. Frankie's dead. Like that kind of stuff is what we do. But when you're south of the land bridge, it's basically an anything goes. Yeah. It's basically just another PvP server. So that's kind of one of the many reasons we chose the moles.
Yep. He also asked for some more context on how respawning at your base is going to be balanced. Will they load in half health? What sort of balances can we expect? I think you just said that the balance is going to be that it's pretty much a one use, and then it's a cooldown period.
Yeah, it's going to be a long cooldown period between each respawn, at the very least. If we need to balance it more, we can. Half health is something we've considered as well. There's a lot of things we can do. It's pretty open.
Yeah. But no, congratulations on it, mate. I'm glad. I wish more people had bothered to give it a chance. But each to their own. In some cases, and I said this in the clip, a lot of these people choosing not to play it are stating a reason of, but yeah, I don't want to bump into content creators all the time, but they'll still go and play day one for, they may not admit it, but that's one of the main reasons they're playing day one, because there's such a good chance of bumping into other people on that one. So, yeah, I'd just love to see more people adopt it. The main thing I put out there was we all saw the success of the Rust OTV server, I think it was called. And despite all the drama on it, it was a success. It put Rust back in the spotlight for gamers everywhere. There were some big name people jumping on there. And if we had more views, more people putting, I wrote in the Discord as well, if you get a stream on it, put creators in your stream title. Hashtag creators on Twitter. The more work we put in, because you and Erno in particular, and Lieutenant Masters and even War Dog, put a lot of work into this server. So it'd be great to see more support for it. It doesn't cost them nothing, and it's just a simple, easy way of supporting DayZ and encouraging people like yourself to keep on doing it, so we don't have you burn out and do a War Dog on us.
Yeah. No, I think it's very much like it's been interesting because it's also like an output for me to just kind of creatively just throw stuff out there without having much concern for it. So like just the things that I would do if I was running the show at Bohemia, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
speak of the devil, there's Ray in chat. More people, more victims. I'd actually love to see him and Sarah Moore team up. Now that would have been chaos.
Oh God, I don't even like thinking about that. But I think the worst case scenario for the server is we just take it public, and then have, all kinds of people join.
Yeah.
And then give the creators priority slots and still run it for a month.
Would you do other maps? Would you move the mods and stuff to, say, Livonia or a Chernarus or a Deer Isle or something like that? If it gets successful, yeah?
Well, it was actually interesting because somebody suggested that we actually do this as like a every 3 month or every 4 month thing. So every 4 months we run for 1 month, and like we change the map next time. So next time would be Chernarus, maybe the next time would be Deer Isle for a month, and then we have different kinds of ways to sort of bring the server and keep it fresh between runs. So that's also a possibility. But right now we won't change the map.
I've got a question for you as well. Dino said before that once Armour 4 gets released, he'll be jumping ship and going to that. What about you?
To be honest with you, I'm not sure if I'm going to be around for Arma 4. I think I'm going to be completely out of the modding community. But if I am still modding or I'm still active, I'll at least stop by, and help people out because I know for a fact that once Arma 4 comes out, we're going to have the head start. So it's kind of important for us.
Is
to,
this
to do
burnout
that.
or is this job related?
A little bit of both. I've been burned out ever since I finished the editor. I've been trying to find new things to keep me motivated to do stuff. Like Namalsk was a pretty good motivator, but beyond that, like Creator Z is a good motivator. But once those kind of opportunities run out, what's next? And if there's nothing next, then I'm probably just gonna, happily fade into existence and let my work go.
That's why I have a horse.
Yeah, you need to set yourself an impossible goal, Dab.
Yeah, exactly. Something.
Well, that's what I did with the editor.
Maybe team up with Dino. No, actually, don't team up with Dino. We don't want him to burn out as well.
We already have a little collab, don't we, with the EVR script and the Bloodsuckers? But
Yeah, true. Yeah, exactly. I like helping everyone out in the community. I think it's fun. It's never a case of, well, this is my stuff, nobody else can touch it. It's always a case of, this is my stuff, learn from it. Here's the source code, have fun. And I just hope that the community benefits from it.
Well, good on you, mate. You've made me feel worried again for DayZ, mate. You've made me feel really fucking worried again for DayZ. It just seems like we're entering into, we were talking about it earlier, but entering into a bit of a dodgy patch, Marks.
Yeah. I don't know how to kind of explain it. It's like a lot of people are kind of uncertain about the game's future. Whether it be vanilla side or modding side, it's just kind of in a bit of a grey area at the moment, I think.
Well, it kind of segues
And,
into the next topic, mate, the accusations against expansion, which is why we've got DOJ here. I've been seeing it everywhere, and I've kind of avoided it for a while, but DayZ did a post, it devolved, as most of them do, but it devolved to a very specific example with this Tyrant 00 Hunter. Well, DayZ expansion crew is attacking many mod creators right now, so Namika might be removed, whatever Namika is.
Namalsk. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that
we actually made Nemika too.
I made it, man.
This is a joke. Jesus made it. We're gonna.
Yeah,
You should bring
check
that up.
the comments.
But what the fuck is going on? One of our admin for the podcast, Ben, has been very disgruntled with cliques forming and all the rest of it, and I'm on the fence on this one because people gravitate towards people of a similar mentality. It's people. I saw someone say in a comment that it's getting like fucking high school. Well, no, it's not. It gets like high school when there's overly excessive drama involved, but people like to be around people who they look up to, that they seek inspiration from, who they think like. What is this all about? This DayZ expansion crew attacking mod creators. Tell me the background, DOJ.
It's fake news.
Ha!
But for real.
Can you explain? What's the accusations that they're accusing you guys of?
So they're accusing us to delete like ourselves, just delete mods from the workshop that we don't like or whatever.
How can you do that? You don't have that power.
No, we can't. Bohemia does, but we can't. That's it.
So are they then saying that you guys are using your influence with your relationship with Sumrak and Daone and people within BI to do this?
I mean, I guess so, but I think even Sumrak doesn't have like
He doesn't.
Yeah. He couldn't even do it if he wanted to.
Sumrak couldn't do it if he wanted to. Bohemia is very like sectioned off for that kind of stuff. They can't have any power like that. Otherwise, because it's a conflict of interest.
So what are these rumors for those that haven't heard about them? Are they,
Basically, that the expansion crew is being malicious and going after other mods. And a lot of this, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, DOJ, but this is about Nightwolf's helicopters and Jacob's helicopters.
right.
From what we know, like obviously, like Nightwolf used I think that was Bohemia assets,
Yep.
that he was selling. And I don't know about Jacob what he done, but that's all I know. Like Nightwolf has been
Well-
selling helicopters, like Bohemia models for what, like 2 years now, maybe.
And he's
Longer
made
than that.
thousands
And
from it, I've heard.
Yeah.
what ends up happening was it's the whole thing is sort of boiled down very much. So it started off as like, well, why are my helicopters being removed? They haven't been removed before, so what's different now? And the big change was Bohemia just got access to new ban tools. So now that Bohemia has access to these tools, they're going to use them to do the stuff that they've wanted to do for years, because they knew that Nightwolf was doing this, but they couldn't do anything about it. So now that they can, that's what changed. Expansion actually had nothing to do with it, but the reason I think why expansion gets blamed is because Nightwolf likes to spread this one particular image of something that Jacobs said that he took out of context like 2 years ago with the whole like expansion selling helicopters drama. Jacob apologized. He knew what he did wrong, and he took something out of context from that and then used that and spread it around the whole Russian community. And then they all like sort of boiled the pot more and more because it sort of it went with their narrative. So their narrative is, my helicopter mod got banned. Who did it? And who do we get to point fingers at? And why is it not Bohemia? And why is it the guys that are trying to, do the stuff for free, right? Because they think we have some type of stake in this deal. They think that we can actually do anything about that. We can't. The only thing we can do is provably say that they stole the models. We can prove that they stole the models, and then we can issue a DMCA. And then it's definitely us that took them down, but not because it's our fault. It's because you're stealing the helicopters. If he steals the helicopters, it's still his fault. We're just the ones that pointed it out. So even then, that's like the only possible thing that you could point to us. And that wasn't even us that did that. We just took it to the right people. We just knew who to take it to when the one guy, who I'm not going to name, brought it up, because he brought it to me first of all, and then I brought it to the right guys who passed it on to the people inside of BI Legal. That's basically what happened. And then it boils down to the whole Russian community trying to figure out and point fingers at somebody, and it's all a mess. They can't point fingers at anyone, so they immediately think of expansion, because we're the only ones left on the Steam market right now, because we are the only ones that followed the rules, and we didn't break any of them. So that's kind of how that boils. That's kind of where
pretty much it.
Sorry, I took you to the spotlight there.
Do I
Mark?
think that's
for
a
months.
lot of? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say that guy was reported from day one that he was selling his helicopters. I think what happened was Steam delegated the powers, like we said at the start. And now the software houses connect on it. So that's great. It's a shame for those servers that paid $400 allegedly, and they ended up with a broken helicopter. But let that be a lesson, is what I would say.
I think I kind of see this a lot sometimes in my live stream chat as well. I think a lot of casual DayZ players think DayZ expansion is part of DayZ, that they actually work for Bohemia because of the name. I think a lot of people kind of get mixed up on that, so I think they might think that you have like connections to Bohemia or something like that, and that's why a lot of kind of casual players and stuff will point fingers at E as well.
I think a lot of it comes down, Marks, to the relationship between the likes of Dab and Sumrak. I would go so far as to say you would be quite close now after all the work you've done together. Is that right, Dab?
Definitely, yeah. I consider Adam a good friend.
And I think people are implying favoritism because of that. If you say something to him, you're going to say it to Dwarden, he's going to say it to Dwarden, and then Dwarden's going to take action.
Yeah, which is total complete BS. Like, even if I did say something to Adam about that, and then Adam brought it to legal, it's completely legal's decision to whether or not to remove the mod. It's a private investigation that happens within the company. It's not just gonna be like, it's not like, this isn't Gossip Girls. This isn't high school. We're not just gonna go up and like spread rumors around the lunch table and be like, hey, I heard the Nightwolf was stealing helicopters. Do you think you could get him removed? Like, because expansion wants to have the whole market. We don't want any competition. Like, we want competition. we like it. But like these guys just seem to think that this is just some fucking playground bullshit that's going on when it's clearly not. The Russians don't want to play by everybody else's rules. That's really what's happening. They don't want to play by everybody else's rules. they want to be unreasonable, and they think because they've got away with it for 3 years that they can do it more, and they can't anymore. But yeah. Anyway, guys, I gotta bounce out of here. I promised my girlfriend I'd play Minecraft with her, and I'm already not doing that. So
one quick question. Are there paid Minecraft mods?
I don't know. Maybe I was considering becoming a Minecraft modder just for fun, but I don't know. I can't program. I don't like programming in Java. It drives me nuts.
Okay. No worries, mate. Give your girlfriend a hug and a kiss from us.
All right. Take it easy, everyone.
Cheers, mate.
See you later, Deb.
So DOJ, what's going on with expansion, mate? You guys were massive, and now it's very quiet.
I mean, okay, for me, like, I kind of stopped modding on it since 108 because I went to hospital, and when I was in hospital for like 2 weeks, 108 dropped and it literally broke the entire like workshop. And since then, like, I haven't really modded that much, because I don't know, no motivation, and I'm just doing something else. But everyone got kind of burned out, and I know like Steve's computer like broke.
Yep.
So he had to buy a new one, and like the GPU's situation and everything. And yeah, I don't know, like even Banana got burned out, and everyone wants to take a break from it.
What about the
But
standalone
what's gonna-
vehicle mod?
You're gonna have to ask Jacob because I don't know much about it. But
Yep.
I think he's still kind of working on it, I think.
Okay, because I know that's the big thing that a lot of people are waiting for. Isn't that right, Marks?
Yeah, a lot of people want to try server-side helis
Oh,
and
yeah.
cars, all that type of stuff.
Because Jacob's also been working on motorbikes as well, Dean.
Yeah, I don't know. I used to talk to Jacob, but I don't know what happened. I don't know. He disappeared for a while, so maybe
Maybe burn out
Mod-
again.
I don't know.
He started watching animes, and since then it just changed. He's not the same anymore, man.
He's just not the same.
I think it must, for all the developers of that, I mean, it must be great when you're right at the top and then, you complete your project, and then what do you do? I guess
Yeah.
it must be hard to regenerate and say, right, this is next. When you've, I'll be honest with you, expansion isn't my thing. And when I say that, I mean, I don't play that genre. I'm not into helicopters in the scenario, etc. When I play single player anyway, and make add-ons. But I know a hell of a lot of work goes into that, and it must burn you out, certainly.
Yeah, especially me, like placing grass, manually. But
yeah.
Was there, for expansion, was there a lot of pressure at the end before it was released, like to get it out? Do you think it should have been delayed a little bit longer? Maybe that would have saved you off from
Honestly-
being completely burnt out.
honestly, I think it's a good thing we released it before 108 because otherwise, I think it would have been delayed like for so fucking long. Like you have no idea.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I look forward to seeing what's going to happen next with expansion. I hope you guys do continue because you've generated a lot of hype when DayZ needed it. Back before the boom and that, and there were even videos crediting you guys with saving DayZ back then as well. So, yeah, I'm still watching very closely, and I think if Jacob can get the vehicle standalone pack out. Like Yana Chinaris has just said in chat, burnout is a phrase that's been mentioned a lot tonight. Let's just hope Jacob hasn't gotten burnt out as well.
Nah,
Yeah.
he's just watching animes. That's it.
Hentai or animes?
Both probably.
Oh god. Okay, we're into the wind down now, guys and girls. Mod mini spotlight. Sorry, Dean, but I didn't realise you were going to be on the show tonight, so I had someone else picked a modder by the name of Hellmaker. He has some really, really interesting mods, guys and girls. It's more up my alley. But the two main ones, like I've talked about him before, he's got the Green Country map that he's working on, which just looks beautiful to me. So much forest, and I love forest because you can get lost when you're in the forest. But he's also got Hell Retex Survival, Hell Retex Weapons, and the Hell Retex Enhanced Gameplay, which is basically like a newer, more up-to-date version of Medical Attention, if people remember that mod. If you're into hardcore DayZ, you need to be looking for servers that have, in particular, these two mods on them. They are phenomenal. Hell Retex Survival, you can actually craft things from stone. Stone hammers, stone axe, stone knives, stone pickaxe, stone shovels. It's just, you know, you would make a saw out of sticks and wire, and crafting from wood, and just, he's got some simple little cards there that you can put in your Discord to show people. It's a hard one, unless you've got a really dedicated core community. A lot of people just don't know that these things are there. So you dial down the vanilla stuff because you've got these recipes to make stuff. But a lot of people just don't know how to craft them. But you can put these in your Discord, these little cards that he's got made up, and it's a simple little guide to make the axe equals this plus the stone axe head. To make the axe head is a rock and rope. To make the handle is bark plus a knife, and just, yeah, simple 5 pieces of bark plus a knife, and just simple little things like that. That you know, I did have some players memorably on my server when it was still up that couldn't even work it out from the pictures. But yeah, it's a fantastic little mod. And then the Hell Retex Enhanced Gameplay adds some really interesting factors to the game. Hygiene, so your character needs to start washing, or else you start, if you get to red hygiene, you actually start attracting more infected. And you have flies buzzing around you, which annoys the absolute crap out of you. So you've got to strip completely naked at a water source and wash your body down. You've also got the one that a lot of people might remember from Medical Attention, the sleep. As you get more tired, if you hit red tired, you'll start hobbling like you're injured because you're just exhausted, and you need to lay down using the emote wheel to rest. But there's a lot more to it than just that. Hygiene management, diet management, tiredness management, backpack restrictions when on backslot, eat drink restriction when a cloth like a mask is worn. Just, yeah. You could use soap now to clean up faster, Dumpgrass saying in chat. So nice and clean. Just a really, really fascinating bunch of mods that I highly recommend you check out if you're looking for a way to spice up your server. I'll post a link to it in chat. But yeah, have you ever heard of it, Marks?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I have. I've seen quite a few of his things. He's good. They're good. Good quality as well.
What do you think of him, Dean?
Yeah, I think that's what I was pointing out to you earlier on when I said about crafting, and you must have mentioned it last stream.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's brilliant. It's like I said, if server owners and players talk to add-on makers more, they they give more impetus. You know, they spur people, add-on makers on to make things, because often, like myself, I don't really play the game, so I don't know what's needed.
Yeah.
It's kind of selfish way to be. I know I make things that I like.
I want more
sometimes-
cooking. I want more cooking. Actual recipes, not just point a stick at a fire and hold the wheel until it turns brown. I want to be able to actually make recipes. That's one of my big things, you know. Get some veggies and get some meat, make a stew. I know, is it Much Stuff has that in it? Yes, it is Much Stuff.
that
Masses,
can be a first lesson.
oh, sorry, Masses Many Items. Masses Many Items has it.
Daily dose by Innovate. Oh, yeah.
Alexa wants to join in, I think. On that. But yeah,
But yeah.
well, when you start learning add-on making, that can be your first lesson. It's one of the easiest.
Yes, you've been harassing me, and I've got to find the time very, very soon to sit down and learn that with you, so I can talk a bit more knowledgeably about it.
I hope so. You'll be surprised how easy it is to get the basics down.
It's a lie.
Then we've
Don't trust
also
me.
sorry.
It's a lie. It's so complicated.
Nobody mentioned map making.
Now we've also
Oh, yeah.
got the content creator mini spotlight, and I hope I haven't covered this guy before, but I am a huge fan of his. Call Me Rive. Now we were talking negatively about the Russians before with the mods, but Call Me Rive is an absolutely fantastic Russian streamer. The guy is a purist of DayZ, but he's not like just a survivalist or anything like that. He loves the survival aspect. He loves PvP. He loves base raiding. He's just one of the most knowledgeable and unsung DayZ streamers out there. You will absolutely love watching him. He also does tech streams. He's very tech savvy. The guy's a fucking doctor. He's actually a qualified doctor in Russia, but they just don't earn a lot in Russia. So he stopped being a doctor. And he does other stuff now. He's fairly, like doesn't talk a lot about his personal life, but definitely worth checking him out. I'll put his link in the chat as well. But please consider giving this guy a follow. If you enjoy DayZ, you will really enjoy watching Call Me Rive. I'm a huge, huge fan of his. Really good guy. Really good guy. Artwork creator mini spotlight. Again, I'm hoping I haven't covered her before, but I'm starting to run short of people. He speaks English on stream, Dazzy Boy. He's very, very fluent in English. Heavy Russian accent, of course, which I kind of enjoy listening to. But yeah. Match. For those who don't know, Match is an Aussie emote artist. She's also a Twitch affiliate. And she works with the Pipsy community as well. She's also the other half of Fubar Bundy, but she has done a lot of my emotes as well. I know a lot of people are waiting for Dr. Strangelove and the like to become familiar, but if you're in this neck of the woods and you want to support a local Aussie, I can't recommend Match enough. She's very, very talented. She can be contacted on Twitter, and there's her link, Matchbox. And she's another legend of the Australian DayZ community as well. Last but not least, folks, we have the community spotlight, and I want to shine it on one of the members of the DayZ podcast admin team, Foxypote, who has reinvented his DayZ blackout service. He doesn't have a website for him that I'm aware of, but I do have a link which I will share to the Discord. If you are interested in, he's done a shit ton. Are you here, Foxy? Are you in chat, mate? But me and him were talking beforehand. But he's creating some custom stuff for his server. He's putting his heart and soul into it. And if you're looking for something new to try out, folks, join the server, find out more about it, and yeah, jump on there, give him a watch. DayZ Twitter watch. What do you think of the DayZ Twitter account at the moment, Marks?
It's kind of very boring, isn't it? It's kind of there's not much
thank
happening
you.
on it. I know they post
Thank you.
some stuff, but it's nothing. It's nothing.
DOJ,
you
you
know.
help run the DayZ EXP account.
I mean, yeah, the official account is. I mean, I kind of liked, when Scotty was,
Yes,
doing his.
Scotty
tweets.
and Jakub.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think there should be like more, even more involved. How do you say? Like the community should be even more involved into it.
Yes.
Like make some events and
Yes.
just some stuff.
When was the last time that you can remember DayZ running an event, Dean?
God, I'll be honest with you, I can't remember any at all.
As far as I can remember, it goes back to Batty. I'm sorry, I lie. They have done on occasion. The devs are on this server. Come join us and hunt us down.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah,
last
that-
organised stuff that I can remember, Marks, is there's the 4 months ago with the building contest they did. But that wasn't really an event per se. But that was the sort of
No.
thing I would like to see more of, Marks. Stuff like the building
Yeah.
competition with a prize at the end of it. You know, whether it be a fucking DayZ hoodie or an in-game item. Just something, anything.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have more. It seems like the DayZ Twitter's gone a bit too professional recently. Maybe a way to put on it. It'd be cool to
Sterile.
have the community
It's
more
very
events.
sterile.
Yeah, sterile. Yeah. Yeah, it would be cool to see more of that in it. Definitely.
I
If-
reckon they should employ you, DOJ, to run the DayZ Twitter account.
Oh boy.
Be banned.
You know,
Jon,
like,
Jon of
Thank you,
Chinaris
Jano.
has just summed it up. The DayZ Twitter account reads like it's actually being run by someone who has never actually played the game.
I kind of agree at some point.
No?
It's like they've got a couple of marketing grads or something. No offense to them. They might be lovely people, but they need... Look at how much hype they generated when you said, DOJ, about Marks and Yakub when they were running... Scotty and Yakub when they were running the account. Look at how involved the community was. We were loving it. It was funny. We were interacting with them. Right now, they need to be doing more for us. Not just events, but something, anything. Just generate some hype. Not just on Twitter, but also on the forums and on whatever. Like, I would love to see them. We're starting to, get into I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world. I'm probably jumping the gun here a bit. But like later this year, we've got PAX Australia. But I'd love to see them getting out. Send one person to PAX Australia just to meet up with the fans and hand out some hats or stickers even or something. Just generate some hype. Give a bit of
Yeah, I
love
think-
back to the community.
I don't think if they're in Europe, I don't think they'll be leaving their country anytime soon. Within the year, anyway.
I think all hands are on Armour 4 deck at the minute. When is the 20th anniversary of Flashpoint? Is it June 21st this year or something? I heard maybe everything's focused on that at the minute, and then when that has its song and dance, they might come back a bit.
The guys in chat are saying, how good would it be if the devs highlighted a mod?
I think they've done it in the past, but I think there was one that actually contained stolen assets, and they never did it again since that.
Look, you can't let yourself be burnt by something like that, though, DOJ. You've just got to say, sorry, we didn't realise it had a stolen asset in it. Pick the more reputable people. Pick the ones who've proven themselves. Don't pick, Joe Blogs has just uploaded, Dodgy Brothers asset retextures. Pick the more established ones. And, the people who are demonstrating themselves and show some love to them. Pick a community. Shine a spotlight on a DayZ community out there. Even, it pretty much seems all they do is talk about, they'll say so-and-so is streaming or something like that. They could help change a lot of the culture as well for modding, making it more seen as mainstream.
I think there's a lot of I'm guessing legal probably has a little I would assume they might have like a little rule set or something they might have to follow by. I could be wrong, but I wouldn't surprise me
I
if
thought about it, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
legal might be,
Yeah. I think they
Watch
should
them.
have a workshop over in. They used to have them for Armed Assault modding workshops. I think they had one once, but they invited streamers instead of add-on makers. But anyway,
just something.
I think
We need to see some activity from them. We need to see some, generate a little bit of hype and that. We know there's community managers. Would love to see something, anything. Give some codes to streamers to give out. I don't know. Just generate some hype. But I hate to say it, but it feels like DayZ's becoming that old dog by the front door that everyone kicks on the way into the door again. Which it was when it
DayZ
was
is gonna
down to
die a
around
second
about
time.
3,000. Sorry, DOJ?
This is gonna die a second time.
It feels sad to say it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Marks, I think you've got your title, and I hate to say it. I fucking hate to say it, mate, but the highlight video has to be. We've come back to this topic twice. I hate myself. I hate myself for saying this. But is DayZ dying?
Yeah, that comments in that one will be good. Not really see it.
But the thing is,
Yeah,
I think you would do a different angle on it, mate, because I think you could put in what we are talking about, and then you could put in your own angle, because we haven't said XYZ game is going to kill DayZ, but is okay? That lad says no, it's not. Seawall saying definitely not dying. Notorious Bam Bam, no chance. But is it on a downward trend again?
it could be when Rust hits.
It's certainly infected.
Lad, I will
Yeah,
hit
I
you
mean-
up on that, mate. Send me a DM on Discord, buddy. I will hit you up on that. Because, yeah, it just, it feels a bit scary. Okay, Dumpgra's in the house. What do you got to say on this matter, Dumpgra?
So DayZ is not dying. There are amazing projects being worked on right now. There's actually a AI system that is being worked on incredibly well, and it's going really well. There's tons of things going on in the background, and yeah, I don't think a lot of people are seeing it. But if you just look through the workshop, you'll see all of the creativity and all of the servers that people are playing on. It was like what, less than 6 months ago, you yourself were posting a thing about how DayZ isn't dead and how, we had the highest population. We're just at a low divot like any server pop has, but it's just for a game. We're going to go back up. We're going to get more people, and it's going to keep going. As long as the developers of the game keep providing us quality updates like they have, fixing bugs, introducing new content, helping modders with new features and new ways of modding, I think we're actually going to keep going up.
But I think on the PC side I agree with you, but on the console side they're at a bit of a slippery
And
slope.
that's the key
It's like
point right there, Dumpgra. Yeah,
console,
Marks,
yeah.
continue, mate.
There's millions of people that play the game on console, millions, between both platforms, and the content that they're not adding to the game right now could kill it, because most console players, I feel, have a less limited, a less time to wait for these updates and wait for content to be added. And I think after a while, especially, I know I keep bringing it up, especially when Rust releases onto console, you could probably see a lot of players going towards that if there isn't a big content push for console in the next coming months, however long that'll be.
I see your point, but counterpoint, they're going to go to Rust, and then they're going to see what Rust really is. Now, I knew it's an amazing game, but they're going to see some of the toxicity, and they're going to come back to the games that they know and love. Now, mind you, DayZ devs should actually focus more on making sure that the console people get the same updates as the PC players around the same time, because having these updates take way longer to be pushed to console than PC is a little bit
Yeah,
sucky.
a bit more complicated and stuff.
If the DayZ devs just kind of shift their focus a little bit and paid a little bit more attention to the consoles, I think they'll retain most of their base, even if Rust does release to console.
Skullspeed has got a good point there as well. Maybe console Rust will attract people to the survival genre who haven't played that style of game before, and it will lead to players trying out DayZ.
That's a good idea.
Good. Yeah, good. It's going to be interesting to see how well Rust performs on. I think Scalespeed has been playing a bit of the Rust beta. It's going to be interesting to see how well it performs compared to, DayZ's always been, console version DayZ's always been kind of told as doesn't really perform very well, quite laggy, screen tearing, all that stuff. But that could also have a bit of an effect on it. But then, like Scales Spirit said, they could bring a lot of people towards it.
I'm with Jon of Chinaris here. I just said to him, join the Discord as well, but DayZ feels like it has never been more popular in terms of numbers, but the culture feels like it has changed to me. As an old school player, I feel like I'm losing my game to the mainstream.
Well, you're
It's
going to
just-
get
said he's gonna.
more of a population, right?
Yeah. What?
Say that again.
I said you're going to do that when you get more of a population. You're going to attract more various different types of a culture. When modding was introduced to DayZ, you kind of broke the mold of DayZ and said, have at it. And people had at it. And we've attracted different types of players. So overall, the culture has changed. Has it changed for the worse? That's up to your opinion. But I think overall, it's not necessarily a horrible thing that the culture has changed.
Galspeed is
It's like
saying,
a-
I've heard from other people that Rust runs very well on console, much better than DayZ on last gen, but you didn't hear that from me. No worries, Galspeed. Your secret is safe with us and YouTube.
Won't put that in the video, promise.
Okay, Rag Tyson's got a really good point there as well. From what I understand, there's over 7,000 servers right now, which is diluting the
A lot.
player base massively. And that's only on PC.
100% agree.
We need to see more collabs. It's probably something I did wrong. Probably something I did wrong myself with my server. I closed Dean's Beans this week because it just didn't gain any traction, and I've only got limited amount of time available, and I couldn't. But I think I could have added some great assets to a hardcore survival community, but I chose to be arrogant enough to think I could do it myself, and I got my ass kicked like so many other server creators out there.
Can I give a reason as to why I think a lot of servers die? I think it's one of the big ones. A lot of servers out there are not unique. A lot of servers are carbon copies of each other, and maybe servers, the only thing they'll do is they'll place a few buildings around, they'll add a couple of guns, reskin them, and that's it. And they'll think, okay, that's good, my server's going to fill up. They're not unique enough. That's not going to bring people to them.
Actually, 100% agree. And okay, I'm just gonna give the idea because I wanted to do it myself, but I'm just too lazy and I don't have time. I wanted to create a server where you just spawn at debug and you'll have to go on the coast to get the good loot. And I think that would change like the cycle, like how people play the map.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be actually unique. Like I've never seen this before, and I don't know.
What do you think,
Something
Dean?
like this kind of concepts will completely make like change the game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you see it with the rearmed server I done a video on a couple of weeks ago, the Escape from Tarkov inspired one. That's completely unique. There's no server like that out there. Like, it's completely different. Nobody's ever seen anything about it before, and it just got swarmed with people because it was
Exactly.
something that nobody'd ever seen. That server's full and has 70 player queues waiting to get in. People are waiting 3 hours to get into that server because of it blew up in a week.
I see
Because it's so
everyone
unique.
on DayZ modders, who ask, "Wait, can you set up my server? I want to make something unique," and they just ask for like mods that everyone has already. So
Yeah, it's just carbon copy.
Well, that's an important thing to state is people say, can you set up my server? And I think a lot of people who start up servers don't have any idea how much effort it takes to actually properly set up a server.
reason why
Um,
I don't want to do it myself.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pain. Like, you got to go through all the XMLs, you got to do all the nominals, lifetimes, restock values. There's so much to learn and there's so much to
Yeah.
teach
You need a
that it's
team.
just you might as well throw money in the trash can for like the first couple months because you're not going to have that player base immediately because you have to develop everything and become unique, like Mark said. But I think a lot of players a lot of server owners just get overwhelmed. They see that they don't have a population. They're spending. DayZ servers are also really expensive.
Very.
Like the basic whatever is, like 40 or $50 for like a 20 to 30 man slot server, and that server can barely handle most of the mods that you want to put on
Yeah,
it.
that's the problem I had.
So like people look at it and go, why am I spending $60 a month if there's only 2 people playing on my server? And they don't really ever become, I call it the DayZ maturity rating. 1 in every 12 servers become adult servers and live on to adulthood. And that's the basic joke, right? But it's waiting to have that population. It's waiting to have the content that makes people want to play, like Mark said. But most servers just don't do it.
No, they're just boring. You get on, it's the same. It's just the same thing over and over again on 90% of the servers out there at the moment.
1 gazillion
I think-
times
And,
loot and
Yeah, I think
trader.
some people just wanna have a server to have a server. You know, they just want to be admins and spawn stuff, I guess.
Well,
But that's not what it is.
the biggest reason I know people start servers is they start servers because they don't like the way most servers are run, or they don't like the content that most servers have, or their loot economy. It's always something, right? And they think that running a server is going to be easy enough that they can just do it, with only a couple of hours of work every week. But if you have a popular enough server, it's actually quite a bit of work.
Yeah, it's a lot more than I ever thought it was. And I barely scratched the surface.
I soda. I could run a kick-ass RP server, but I'm broke right now. Laugh my ass off. Need a business partner. Any takers, mate? If you reckon you could add to an RP server, go join something like DayZ Underground, or there's some really good RP servers already out there. Because I do think that's a massive issue. Just the sheer volume of servers that are all competing for. What did I see? What was that? It's at 34,000, 35,000 people now. You divide that by 7,000. It's less than 5 people per server on average.
Yeah, there needs to be like just a massive wipe. All these empty servers just need to be. I don't think it's possible, but hypothetically, there just needs to be a wipe of all of these servers. Just get rid of them and leave the popular ones with the medium popular ones. Then do it, but they would all just spring up again instantly. So might be a waste.
That's
of
true
time.
because every time I launch DayZ SA, it just takes like 15 seconds to load every servers, and all of them are like empty. So
Empty. Yeah, it's just.
Well,
yeah,
the funny
it's just a
thing
waste.
is when DayZ first started, they only gave out so many licenses to all of the servers to be rented out. And then that didn't work out very well for them. But it's kind of funny if you ever look into the history of like how many licenses were given to these server renting companies in the beginning.
I didn't know
Because
that.
right now they have unlimited license. They can rent as many servers as they want of a DayZ. Before it was we only have so many of these servers we can rent out. Before Bohemia goes, no, don't do that.
Maybe something like that needs to happen again. Keep them all in check or something,
See, that said, I'm a bit like Skull Speeder. I don't mind a low pop server, but yeah, just it'd be good to see some people team up and consolidate their assets, and just imagine the servers they could create, DOJ. When you get a good team of 5 or 6 people with a good complement of skills, and they all create something uniquely brilliant, but collaboratively.
That's another thing as well, is that a lot of people make these servers and then they'll go, oh, I'll just get these content creators to come on and promote your service for you. Like the amount of messages I've had over the past couple of months of people just saying, will you check out my server? Will you stream on my server? All this stuff. And you go, they give you like your mod list or whatever, and it's just same stuff every server. Like all the servers are just the exact same. You type in their name on the DayZ standalone auto, 0 players on it. It's like you can't stream on that.
yeah, like I don't. There's so many like good ideas out there, that you can try, but no one does.
Yeah.
That's kind of a shame.
That reminds me, Marks. I'm kidding. Bad joke.
Okay, guys. Individual spotlights. What was yours for the week, DOJ?
Honestly, I don't know. I wasn't expecting to come here, so. I mean,
Well, what
spotlight,
about
I'm
you
just
then,
gonna
Dean?
Spotlight Creator Z,
Creator Z. That's mine as well. Creator Z has to be Creator Z.
Spotlight. I guess the big one this week was Bohemia cleaning up the workshop a bit for me. As an add-on maker, it's nice to see some of the scum wiped off the top of the pot, shall we say?
Sorry, I have to
Um,
just quickly address a comment in chat from Matrix, sorry. So M3S truck can take barrels in it, but you can't actually put into those barrels once they're installed into the truck. What was Bohemia's idea on this? I'm a Bohemia fan since Arma 2. Mate, talking to the fucking choir. You can also attach crates to it, and you can't put anything into those items. What the actual, but yeah. We'll save that for another day, but I completely
You can.
110% agree. It just annoys me.
can't you?
No.
I've been able to do it.
You sure?
100%.
Have items in a barrel inside a V3S, you mean?
Or a crate. I've
Crate?
video footage of it.
I think you can
Okay.
put stuff in a crate, but you can't put stuff in the barrels.
Okay, just the barrels then.
I
Okay.
have put the
Yeah.
crates, yes. I'm not sure about barrels, yeah.
Well,
Okay.
now
Maybe
think
it's
about
the-
this. How many barrels can be attached to it?
4, is it?
2.
Okay,
Two.
so there's already
2 or 4.
1,000 slots on that thing.
Yeah, something like that.
So and each crate is 50. And how many crates can you do? 4. So 200. So that's 1,800 slots.
A lot of
They did
storage,
it
yeah.
for balance reasons. Because if you pull up to somebody's base and you can literally put their entire base in your truck and drive off, that would just suck.
True.
Eh,
Very true.
I'm not saying that like it's not.
they shouldn't police the
100%
game like
balance,
that.
But I mean, it's a video game. You got to balance it.
But a truck is a
suppose-
very, very hard thing to protect. There aren't many buildings. You need to build a big fucking base with walls to hide a truck, because there aren't many buildings that you can actually drive a truck into to lock down. And I don't know. I don't know. I just
So imagine this scenario, Boydie. You have a truck. You built a big base to protect it, and let's say Joe Smo and his buddies build a small base. You just take that truck over to his base and you clean them all the way out. They rage quit the server and never play DayZ again.
yeah. That's DayZ.
That's the
Don't get
balance
attached
I'm
to
talking
pixels.
about.
But I've been on the receiving end of a bad raid, where I
think we all
lost
have.
everything, where I lost fucking everything, and they even like stripped the walls down for the nails. But like Notorious Bam Bam saying, that's DayZ. You know, that's up to server community servers to manage with how many of them they let spawn on the server. On vanilla, I think it'd be nigh on impossible to build a base where you could lock down a truck. So yeah, I just think it's silly that you can attach them. But then again, people in chat are saying you can actually, but it's a bit of a process.
Yeah, you can.
Has to be on a flat surface and only move through inventory sliding. Yes, you can. The barrels have to be open when you attach them. The crates, it doesn't matter. So yeah, it's just a bit
And you
of a
have
bit
to
of a
be at
buggy
it-
process.
I've noticed, well, you have to be at like a certain angle at the truck to
Yep.
look in to actually get the barrels to pop up.
Yeah.
But I think as well with the balance issue, is that one of the reasons why they made the truck slow? Or
Oh,
is
they're
it just
so
the truck
slow.
slow because it's truck?
It was always slow.
Well,
Was
I
it just
think
always
testing the truck is slow. It's always been slow, but you can technically drop the truck from space and it will take no damage from the collision with the ground. I've seen like people, debugging myths about it. So it pretty much never takes any collision damage, which is kind of interesting.
That's pretty interesting. I shouldn't know that.
But yeah, Marks, what was your highlight of the week, mate?
I'm going to highlight Dozing Chopper stream.
Dozing Chopper.
Yeah, I was meant to highlight him 2 weeks ago or whatnot, but we just never got the chance. I've been tuning into the streams when JLK was running his Base Wars event for that weekend. I tuned into him, and he is the best PvPer in DayZ, hands down. Just he makes PvP in this game look easy. When he's gone up against, he wipes squads like it's nothing. Just an absolute monster at it. I've been playing with him recently the past week and a half now, and he's just been carrying me in pretty much every gunfight we've run into, and he's just, really, really good at the game and good streamer as well. So I decided I wanted to shout him out. So that's my That's my spotlight.
And mine is the same as DOJ. It has to be creators. Probably the biggest thing. Yes, Dazzy boys, sorry, I'm going to go back to that. Dozing Chopper has been treated like crap, very undeserved. Unfortunately, when you're as skilled as someone like him, like there's a guy in Australia who gets the same stuff said about him. His name is Hop. And they're, they're basically like shrouds. They're gods of PvP. They do shit that the average mere mortal cannot do when they're gaming. Or when they do, it's a miracle. There are people who are that good. Now, I don't know Dozing Chopper personally. I know of him. I've chatted with him on various mediums before. But I'm inclined to give the benefit of the doubt. But there are people who call him a stream sniper. There are people who call him a hacker. Like the guy in Australia, Hop, he even has an overlay now that pops up when people come into his chat and accuse him of botting. And he's made up a little overlay that pops up and makes it look like he's running hack. It's quite funny. People have even fallen for it. I've had people message me saying, is this guy hacking?
The amount of times, like, we've been playing on a PvP server the past week and a half, the amount of times he's been reported in that week and a half alone, just from people thinking he's hacking. And when you see it, like when you actually team up, he's just that good at the game. Like he's really, really good. I think he was, I don't know, he's quite a really good PUBG player as well and stuff. So
reach out to
like
him, mate. Let's get him on the podcast.
He's scheduled, I think, for sometime in June.
Have I already got him? Fuck me, I'm getting old.
Yeah, we can double check, but he is.
I am just going. I'm going into it now to check. Respect. Yep. Oh no, he is 5th of June. We've got Dozing Chopper. Yeah. God, I'm a fucking idiot. Oh my god.
So,
good. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that one even more now. But yeah,
it'll be a good one.
But yeah, again, we'll go back to it. My highlight is the spotlight. Is Churnerus. Oh god. I've been up a few hours, guys, and I didn't get a lot of sleep again last night. It's a bad morning for me. But yeah, it's Creator Z. The work that's gone into it, the commitment to the game is just, Dozing Chopper is on 5th of January, episode 63, guys.
5th of June.
Sorry, 5th of June. Yeah. Yeah, I think I might go get an Alzheimer's check or dementia check. I think I've muddled up about 10 words in the last couple of minutes. But yeah, guys and girls, thank you so much. DOJ, thank you for coming on at short notice. Dean, thank you for jumping on at extremely short notice, mate. Our 2 guests stood us up, but we will persist, Marks. We will do it again. We've got another players episode scheduled for April 25th. And we have Mike Doherty and Blunden lined up for that one. To talk more about the game from a player's perspective. And I'm going to throw it back at you all. You know, we take the feedback on board, Marks, that we're more PC focused, that we're more modder and creator focused in that. So we're giving you guys what you want. We need to hear more. We need a new topic next week to talk about that's console specific. And we need more people to let us know that they want to be. We need 2 people for the May episode, for the players episode. So if you're interested in coming on the podcast and getting to stare at my gap-toothed grin for a few hours, hit us up in the podcast Discord. Link is in the description as always. Dean, thank you so much, mate. It was a pleasure and an honor to finally get to talk to you.
Hey, no problem. Anytime.
And DOJ, mate, you're fucking almost a regular on the podcast now, mate.
I've been here a few times, yeah.
But thank you for coming on to represent expansion, mate. And stop fucking picking on all those other mods out there, you big bully.
Hang on, I just saw Nightwolf just uploaded like a new one. Again, I'm gonna, delete
it, With your mysterious powers.
Yeah.
But no. Thank you all so much, everyone who's been here in chat. I really appreciate it. Mark, you'll be streaming again next week, mate?
Yes, so I'll be back streaming again next week.
Yep. He just had a rough day today on DayZ, guys, and he wasn't up to streaming, but he still did the podcast. He's a little trooper, our little Marks. Reached out and given you a cheek pinch, buddy. Thank you so much, mate. All the best, everyone. And we will see you next week when we have, looking at the schedule, OG Levitt and Uncle Ray Ray coming back. It's going to be a bit of a spicy one, guys. We're going to be touching on some stuff that we sort of touched on today, but you do not want to miss next week's one. Yeah. DeanosBeano, Marx is the right-hand man of the podcast. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. All the best, everyone, and we will see you next week. Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Later.